All right. Trying to get my camera together. Hello, knockouts. Tonya TKO here. I feel like the camera is so close. All right, listen. I wanted to I'm sorry. I didn't realize when I went live that the camera was going to be so close up on me. I'm sorry. I I'm using a temporary lighting situation until I get my lighting situation fixed. All right, hello everybody. Welcome in, welcome in. You can tell from the title that today we're going to be talking about other bloggers, right? And this particular topic, it makes me very sad actually. So today we're going to be talking about For Harriet and Chrissie and the beef that they have. Somebody's asking, are we live? Yes, we are live right now. And I'm actually going to turn on the phone lines, but I'm going to turn on the phone lines if we have fans here who are fans of the other platforms. So we're going to take a survey in just a moment. So if you don't know what's going on, I'll let you all know, and then we're going to take a survey and I'm going to see who are the fans here of either of those platforms. So hello, welcome in, welcome in. Right now we are using an incandescent light where we typically use LED. So you see the shadow behind me and the heat is here. All right. So we're going to talk about what's going on. Then I'm going to take the survey, and then I see somebody already saying Team Chrissie. So I didn't send this out to my mailing list because this is really a YouTube kind of thing, and I just kind of went live on the fly. All right. So basically, this is what's going on. There are two different bloggers on YouTube. One is named For Harriet, and her channel, I would say, feminism, history, politics, black stuff, right? And Chrissie's channel, she's very clear with her marketing. Her marketing is corrective, positive promotion for dark-skinned black women. She's very clear with that, right? So I don't know about the whole beef. I just saw 2 videos today because, I'm minding my business on a Sunday, literally on my back, chilling with the fan blowing above me, and I saw Chrissie had a video talking about femininity. So let me click it. I click it, and then I'm listening, and I'm like, oh my goodness, For Harriet said what on where? And someone sent it to Chrissie? And then this evening, again, chillaxing, lounging, it's a Sunday evening, and a video comes into my recommendation where For Harriet is talking about femininity, and I click on it. Oh my gosh, she's upset, she's cursing. It was very interesting, and it reminded me of the beef that I had years ago. So listen, for those of you who are coming in on my channel, somebody's like, finally I caught a live. This is my old channel. I pretty much have switched over to a new channel at Tonya TKO TV, and that's where I've been making videos for the past 8 months. So if you talk about finally caught a live, you're probably not in the right place, right? All right. So, okay, so people already want to take the survey. Fine, let's start the survey now, and then we'll do the survey again. Okay. If you are a fan of For Harriet, put up the number 1. If you're a fan of Chrissie, put up the number 2. I want to see how many we have in the house. Okay. I want to see how many we have in the house. So go ahead and put your numbers. And if you don't know who the heck I'm talking about, just put up a number 3. If you don't know what I'm talking about, who we talking about, put up the number 3. If you like, who's it, says it, what's it, put up the number 3. All right. So there's a number for you, Mrs. O. There's a number for you. It's 3. So if you don't know, okay. So if you're both, just put up the 1 and the 2 so I can know, because because YouTube suggests people stuff, and okay, so there's a lot of people who don't know either, and there are people who watch both. I found For Harriet sometime last year. It took a while for me to get into her stuff because the tonation of it You know, I used to be like, oh, why does everything have to be with all these notes and everything? It took me a while to get into it. But you all used to suggest, say, oh, watch them, watch them. And then I got into it. And I actually, you know, when I'm in the mood for some For Harriet, I watch some For Harriet. When I'm in the mood for Chrissie, I watch some Chrissie. Right? And that's how I does it. That's how I does it. I'm sure that's how everybody does it. All right. So judging from the numbers, it looks like we have quite a few fans from both platforms on here. All right, you know what? I'm going to turn on the phone lines because I want to hear what you all know that I don't know. The whole situation really makes me kind of sad because I'm like, why do we have to have beef between content creators, black female content creators who are here doing their own thing, living, laughing, loving, talking to their fans? Why must we have beef? Right? Like why do we have to fight? Why do we have to be in this back and forth and then calling people and being messy and all of this? Why do we have to have that? You know what I'm saying? It's like and I'm doing the survey, and so you all are on my channel and you all are also saying, oh, I watch Chrissie, you all are also saying, oh, I watch For Harriet. To me, there's room and space enough for us all. You know, it's like we have these niche markets, these niche audiences. Like I said, when I'm in a mood for some For Harriet, I'll watch For Harriet. When I'm in a mood for some Chrissie, I watch some Chrissie. I also watch Paris Milan. And then when I'm in a mood for some updates, you know, I watch Chronicle Speaks because I like the way she delivers current events without being messy, right? But I'm just like, why can't we all create the content for our audience? And when our audience wants that type of stuff, they tune in to the place that they know where to find that. So the big argument is over trans women and black women and whether or not including trans women in the movement is to the benefit of black women or to the detriment thereof. And you know what? I'm going to say this. Let me just get this out of the way. I blame you all. I blame you all, the fans. I blame you all. Because it's like you all sit there and you watch the content creators, you watch us. And sometimes you just don't have, I think you just don't have enough drama in your life, right? And so you want to spark up some drama in other people's lives so that you could be entertained, because you know that's one of the things that we love about reality TV, because we're like, oh, we get to watch people's lives unfold in these ways that we wouldn't want happening in our life, because it's entertaining when it's happening to other people, but if it were happening to us, it would be devastating, you know. So like one of my nieces, she loves Bad Girls Club, but she wouldn't want anybody jumping up in her face, you know, trying to beat her down in those ways. You know, it's like it's cool to watch on TV, but you wouldn't want that in your life. So why encourage it? Why support it in other people's lives? So I blame you fans for sparking, because part of what For Harriet was saying is that, you know, I don't even feel like putting on makeup today, but I'll do a little eyebrows just because I'd be bald faced. One of the things that I heard her saying was what was so upsetting to her was were the comments that were coming out that people were writing. And you know what? I want to ask you all, because I remember when I spoke on the trans issue months ago, there were a lot of people who were very angry, calling me all sorts of names and all this, everything under the book, pick me, Mamie, all types of stuff, right? Why does it upset you all so much? Why does the whole trans thing upset you all so much that it'll make you become ugly towards other people? Can somebody explain why it upsets you? We're going to open the phone lines. The number is 323-488-3149. We're going to be talking about this issue tonight. And then after this, I'm hoping that things will simmer down and that these two ladies will, I don't know. You know what? Listen. Look, I don't know if either of these women watch my videos. But Chrissie, For Harriet, if you all want to come and do a round table and clear the air. You know, I would love to be able to facilitate something like that if we could come together and talk and really not let the hoopla of the fans get in the way of what it is that we do here. You know, I would love if we could do that, right? Okay. So somebody is saying, I only knew one trans woman personally and we got along. Yeah, so I want to know, why does it, from the people who it upsets, because there are people who are upset by it. Because when I was talking about it, I was only merely asking the question, is a trans woman a woman? Is a trans woman a woman? And we went back and forth on this for about a half a week or so. And my conclusion, I'll save my conclusion until after because I talked about my conclusion on Facebook, right? I think it's important for trans women to identify themselves as trans women. That's what I think. I think it's important. I know that there are other people who don't think that it's important for them too, because they feel that, oh, I am a woman. And from my point of view, I feel that there's a lot of male privilege that comes along with a person who is born and raised into the indoctrination and the socialization of being male, that when they bring that over into the female space, it then becomes a more of a how do we put it? It's more of a, I don't want to say holding the space hostage, but it's bringing that privilege in where they're like, I demand to take up this space and I demand to be recognized in such and such a way. And it's not very female, you know. Female nature is to be inclusive. Female nature is to get along. We have different brains than men. And in female nature is not competitive. Female nature is cooperative. And there are many great books about the difference between male bosses and female bosses, and how this world will actually be saved, like corporations and capitalism will be saved by having more female managers. So that's my take on it. I fully respect trans people's rights to express themselves as they see fit. I do think that it's important to be able to respect people's journeys, and I think it's important for trans people to identify themselves as trans, because that is a particular journey that a trans person has gone on that deserves recognition. And I think that it's not self-loving to try to force yourself to be a thing which you are not, and try to force people to identify you as a thing that you feel theoretically, that you feel in your spirit, you feel inside of your heart, but then try to force people to feel, to acknowledge that. I think that it's not very self-loving. I think the most self-loving, just like with the whole biracial thing, there are biracial people who write me angry and they're like, I'm black. And I'm like, honey, I ain't never got into anybody's inbox to demand that I'm black. You know what I mean? Because I'm Nubian. You know, I'm Negroid, I'm Nubian, I don't have to prove that to anyone. And I think that I feel like I kind of lost my train of thought on that one, because, you know, I understand that there are many different types of struggles out there. I understand that and I respect it. And I have followers who are trans, and my trans followers who come here to my page, they come to my page to get what it is that they need from my page. Whatever it is that they may glean that they need from my page, they come here and they get that. However, they are not going to get a person who is entrenched in their particular unique struggle or their unique traversing through life, right? So I'm going to open up the phone lines. There's a lot of comments coming in. Go ahead and thumbs up the video. If you are one of my platinum subscribers, you're going to have you have a special phone number to call in on. And so that special number will bring you up to the top of the line. So I'm answering platinum member calls first above all other calls. If you'd like to know how to become a platinum member, go over to TonyaTKO.com, click on the podcast link, and there's a way right there. There's a way right there. Hold on, I just think started playing. And there's a way right there for you to join on the platinum level. All right, so I'm going to turn on the phone lines because I want to hear from you. The phone number is 323-488-3149. And listen, I know that there are going to be people who are offended by what it is that I said, and that's okay. That's okay. So someone is saying, what's the issue with a natural woman being a woman and those that change themselves into women? I will never understand what the trans plight is like. I will never understand that. And then also, when we talk about the difference between men and women being cooperative, and then also, this is what I forgot to say. The trans brain is different than a male brain and a female brain. It's kind of in the middle, right? And so the human female is, so someone's saying sex and gender are two different things. You can't change your chromosomes. That's one of the things too. All right, let me see. Returning on the phone lines, get ready to gear up. Platinum members, you have your phone number. If you don't know what the phone number is, just go into your email. Go into your email and you will see the phone number there. And so someone is saying 5 years ago, I was at a water park with my son and then it went by too fast. I didn't get a chance to see what it said, but try to call in. All right. Okay, so I am opening up the phone lines and I'm opening up the platinum phone line. So the platinum member phone line is open and the regular phone line is open as well. Oh Lord, you know what? I need to turn on the thing. I need to turn on the all right, there we go. You're on the air live with Tonya. What's your name?
Hi, my name is Letta.
Hi Letta, welcome.
Hi, thank you.
All right, Letta. So, are you a fan of Chrissie or for Harriet, or you want to talk about the trans thing?
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about the trans thing, just give my little 2 to 5 cents.
Okay.
By the way, you look beautiful tonight. Thank you.
I
really have no idea.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to talk over you. I apologize.
No,
it's echoing.
Oh, if you hear an echo, then you probably have to turn down whatever is inside your background. Like if you're listening on another device, you'd have to turn that down.
Okay. I have an earpiece.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to I saw that the a lot of the commenters, because I came in late and I saw a lot of commenters were discussing the trans issue, and I heard you discussing that.
Mm-hmm.
I just had my little opinion on that whole thing. Is I'm not about judging anybody for their sexual preference or their identification, but I think, and I identified with a couple of the commenters on, I really resent having to rename myself because of how someone else chooses to identify themselves. Like, I was biologically born a woman. I'm a woman, period. And to not only be forced to see someone else as that gender because they identify as that, but then now I have to rename myself a different name because of however they want to identify themselves. That's where I have the problem with it, because I can respect the way someone else sees themselves and want to be called whatever pronoun, but I'm a woman, period. Like, why should I need to, I'm cis this, or now a lot of people are being disrespectful with the fish and the, all of this stuff, and I'm like, no.
Is there not enough space for both trans women and is there not enough space for both trans women and bio women?
Correct. I mean, yeah, bio women they're women.
Is there not
And
enough
I would
space? That's the question. Is there not enough space for both? Is there space for us and space for them?
I would say that it's not the same space.
Okay.
That's what I would say. It's not the same space. I can't put a trans woman in the same space as me, but I would give them their own space because biologically I'm a woman. I'm going to experience certain things, you know. And I've heard the argument that some biological women don't, you know, for instance, experience periods and this, that, and the other. But I think everybody needs to have their own space. And once they have their own space and the self-respect with that, then they don't have to step in anybody else's space. And now I'm going to rename your space. You know what I mean?
Okay, got you. All right. Well, you know what? I appreciate you calling in and giving your point of view. The phone lines are lighting up, so I'm going to allow some of the other people to call in. Thank you, Letta.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, thanks.
Stay beautiful.
All right, you too.
Bye.
Okay, phone lines are open, 323-488-3149. And for my platinum members, your line is open as well. If you'd like to become a platinum member, go to TonyaTKO.com and click on the podcast button. All right, so you're live with Tonya. What's your name?
Hi, Tonya. My name is Rose.
Hi, Rose.
I'm a trans woman, and I just want to start by saying I do love your content. I watched you. I started watching you last year when the viral video came out with the girl at the club, and I really do enjoy you.
Thank you.
Ever since then, I have been enjoying you ever since then.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So what is your comment this evening?
Okay, so I didn't see the beginning of your video, but I am aware of the beef between for Harriet and Chrissie. I don't really know Chrissie's point of view too much because I stopped watching her simply due to the transphobia that she has been spewing. I just want to say, from my point of view, I don't think that my issue is not trying to become. I know that I'm not female. I don't care to be identified as female.
Okay.
I agree with you. I agree with you that we should have that differential of transness when it comes between like trans female, cis female, and this is all just vocabulary to create clarity among the community. But we all have that hyphen dash woman. It's like you are a black woman. I am a trans black woman. There are white women, there are Hispanic women, there are Asian women, there are many, many, many different types of women. And we don't experience the same exact struggles, but the struggles that I experience with dating, I can guarantee you a lot of cis black women experience those same struggles. The violence that we face when we go out into the world, I guarantee you that in someone's home, they might have a man that they might claim to love them experience that same type of violence. So I don't want to ramble on, but that's pretty much, I think that we should focus on being as inclusive as possible, because I think that we're getting in a space in the world, specifically the United States, where I feel like the powers that be are practicing divide and conquer. And if we don't find a way to unite, ultimately, we are going to be defeated. And that's just what it's going to be. Are we going to continue fighting amongst ourselves and ultimately perish, or are we going to come together and thrive? So that's basically all I have to say.
Okay, are you on a hormonal regimen?
Yes, I am. I know I don't have the most quote unquote feminine voice.
No. I'm asking that for a different reason. I want to ask you about your relationship with your strength, your physical strength, when you started taking the hormones? What happened to your physical strength? Are you still strong?
I don't consider myself a strong person. I'm not naturally a very strong person. Now, I can't compare myself to a biological woman because I'm not, of course, I'm not that. I've never been a very athletic person.
Okay,
So I
because
can't,
I know
I can't speak to any of that.
because the muscle fibers between males and females are different, and a man
There
of
are.
the same size, same exact size as a woman, is still going to be 33% stronger than her. So when you say
Right.
that there are men who are hitting women behind closed doors, I think there's a tremendous difference between getting into a physical altercation in a female body and getting into a physical altercation in a body where your strength may be comparable to that of the man that you may be with.
But is violence still not violence? Are you saying that because violence happens to a trans body that is more acceptable because of the biological nature that they possess, that we possess?
I'm glad that you asked that question because that's not what I said at all. I'm talking about strength. So if I were in a household where a woman attempted to hit me, I would have a much better fighting chance than in a household where a male tried to hit me. If I were
That's understandable.
right, so I'm asking you about your level of strength. What happened to your level of strength when you started taking the hormones? Did you lose
It has diminished, and I will say I have been in a domestic violence situation, and even though I am a trans woman, if I was a cisgender woman, it's still a very scary, traumatic situation. And I was in a position where I had to get weaponry in order to fight back. Whether you're trans, cis,
but see, so
violent.
no. See, and I want to be able to have a conversation with you without you doing a
Okay.
monologue, right? Because I really want to find out, because I've heard that part of the reason that trans women advocate to be in sports is because, and be in sports and compete against women, is because once they start taking the hormones, that things happen to their strength. So I'm trying to find out from you, did you find that you could no longer pick up heavy things because when you started taking the hormones?
I will say I can't speak to that, Miss Tonya, simply because I'm not an athletic person. I don't care to be involved in sports.
Okay.
I mean, there are some trans women that are athletic and they care to compete in different sporting arenas with cisgender women. They can come and speak to that, but
no,
I simply cannot.
I'm really talking about the domestic violence, because domestic one of the great tragedies of domestic violence between a man and a woman is his extraordinary strength in compared to hers. So not only is a man of the same size one third stronger, a man who's even larger is going to be more than 66% stronger than she is. So that's my concern. So when you say something like, oh, as a trans woman, I could also be in a domestic violence situation, but if I had to wager my money on it, I would much rather fight a man as a trans woman than fight a man as a bio woman.
Okay, that's fine. You can say that, but even still, we are still being killed, and that's just.
Well, no. I'm not even talking about. Nobody should listen. Nobody should be killed.
Okay.
Nobody should be killed. And I don't think that anyone should be killed because they're trans.
My point, I just want to make my point. My point is, regardless of whether or not we have better chances, it's still not a fair fight. It's just not.
Why is it not a more fair fight? Why? Tell me why.
Because we are still weaker. At the end of the day, we are still ultimately, regardless of what you feel biologically, yes, hormones do change your biology. They do. And even if we do have a certain level of strength above what you would assume a cisgender woman has, because you also have to keep in mind there are plenty of cisgender women who are I'm sure more stronger than I am. That we legitimately have Olympic champions that are cisgender women who do lift weights, who throw different, different types of sporting equipment that could outdo me any day in my trans woman body. That's just what it is. And it's just they would probably fare better in a biological in a domestic situation than I would, simply because they're just simply more athletic. And I think that I just want to continue. I love what you do, and I like the fact that you try to get both sides of the situation. But I feel like ultimately, what people I fight more with for Harriet simply because when we all come together and we all we all get to a point of where we are fighting white supremacy and patriarchy together, we all benefit from it. But if we're all trying to play this crab in a bucket, let me get my piece of the pie and hold it over here, somebody's going to get left out.
Right. I hear exactly what you're saying, and I don't want to hold up the phone lines, but I feel like I don't know how many trans people watch me, so I want to take advantage of having a trans person on the line. I think the main issue comes in with saying, you're standing on this tile. I want to come in and unify with you, but I want to stand on the tile that you're standing on, and then we can unify and fight these other people over there. When some people's points, including my own point, would be, why do you have to push me off of my tile to come over and us fight all together? So I
love that. I love that analogy, and I would counter that with, I'm not trying to push you off of the tile. I'm simply trying to stand on the tile beside you, because at the end of the day, we're all in the same room.
Right. However, you have some cisgen that feel that they don't have to identify as a trans woman, that they are women, and that they should be considered women, and that there should be no differentiation, that they should not have to say trans, that they should not have to have their own space, that there were people who were suing.
I want to know, who are these people, because I haven't seen those people.
Look up the Girl Scout lawsuit. Look up Black Girls Rock lawsuit, that they were trans advocates suing Black Girls Rock for not acknowledging little trans girls in their awards. So they're saying, well, listen, I'm a girl, give me an award. I'm a girl, put me in the Girl Scouts. I'm a boy, put me in the Boy Scouts. However, that's a tile someone is already standing on. There are girls and there are boys, and my concern especially, so you know what?
I just Googled Black Girls Rock lawsuit.
Yes.
And there's absolutely nothing about any trans women.
Hold on. Tell me your name again. Tell me your name again so I can address you.
I'm sorry?
Tell me your name again so I know how to address you.
Rose.
Okay, Rose, in terms of that, you're going to have to take some time after you get off of the phone and do the Google search on your own. And then you can come right back in the comments and let me know when you found it, because there's a lawsuit where there's a trans rights advocacy group that's suing Black Girls Rock for not including awards for trans girls. So my question to you, let's table that, because you need to find the information first. Are there content creators? So you watch my videos, and are there content creators that are trans that you identify with their content? Is there a space for you in terms of YouTube for you to watch a content creator?
Absolutely.
Okay, so there are trans content creators that you feel inspired by, that are speaking messages, that talk to you, etc. Okay, all right. Well, so we've been on for 13 minutes, so I'm going to let you go, Rose. Jump in the comments and let me know when you found that, okay? And anybody else who has found that, please, you can put a link below, because I read this last year. All right? Thank you so much, Mama.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, bye. Okay, phone lines are open, 323-488-3149. Phone lines are open, and right now we're talking about the beef that exists between for Harriet and Chrissie, and how it's, centered around this. Okay, so Choco Cat is saying, I found the lawsuit, Fem still a site. Okay, I mean, because I know it's out there, so I'm like, I'm not gonna argue when I know that the lawsuit is out there. So phone lines are open, 323-488-3149. I want to so do y'all think even trans women still have masculinity while it's physically or mentally? Well, the trans brain is different than the female brain. It's kind of bordering in between, and you will notice that there are some inherent behaviors that are different. You're on the air live. What's your name? Hi, what's your name?
You can call me Mrs. F.
Mrs. F as in Frank or Mrs. S as in Sam?
Mrs. F as in Frank.
Okay, so Mrs. F, so talk to us. What is your comment this evening? Don't be nervous. I only yell at people who don't want to take responsibility for themselves. Those are the only people I yell at. All right.
Okay. Well,
I need you to talk a little louder. Your volume is so low, and I tried turning it up on my end, but it's just not. It's up all the way.
Oh, can you hear me now?
I mean, it's okay. I'll bring you closer to the mic. Go ahead.
Okay, so I just wanted to piggyback off of what Mr. Rose, I believe her name was saying. I thought it was interesting when you brought up the analogy about the tile, and what that made me think of, because she said that she wanted to stand on the tile next to us, right? But what I feel like isn't really being acknowledged by a lot of trans women is that Black women are still fighting for their tile to even be recognized.
Okay.
So it's kind of hard for us to be inclusive of somebody else and be helping somebody else's plight on top of the plights that we've been helping, and also have them on our tile, like, if that makes sense. Like, yeah. I feel like it's just expecting a lot out of Black women, and expecting them to fight all of these battles, and it's like, we haven't even gotten to fight our own battle. Can we fight our own battle first? Can we recognize our own tile first?
Well,
Can we have people recognize our tile first?
I think one of the things, and I don't want to speak for Rose or any other trans person, but I believe I gathered that they're saying we can fight this fight all together and defeat white supremacy, that we can all be in the fight together rather than, splitting, dividing ourselves. United we stand, divided we fall kind of thing.
Right. I completely understand that, and I don't think it's unrealistic or a bad thing. And I think it would help their plight if we were to support them. And it did help their plight when we supported them, right? Because we have been supporting trans women. And I feel like Black women especially have always been very inclusive of everybody else's struggles. But the problem is the misogynoir. And that was really, I feel like that's what really brought a lot of us to say, whoa, okay, hold on. We've been helping this group of people and they're spitting in our faces, essentially. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's not all of them. I feel like actually the trans women that are saying the stuff about, the misogynistic stuff, and that are saying those things like, oh, we can take your men, we're better than you. Your organs don't make you a woman, and all of that other stuff. I feel like those people are actually a minority in the trans community, and they don't really speak for the trans community.
Okay.
But it's unfortunate that minority has such a big voice, and they're so loud, you know?
Yeah.
Because I've met trans women in person who understood that, they want to be recognized as women, but they also recognize that biological women have our own space. and they've never tried to take that. And I feel like that's what most trans women would say, like, your average day-to-day trans woman. But like I said, that minority just speaks really loudly, and it's causing so many biological women to just kind of distance. Okay. And I think that's where the problem lies.
Got you. All right, well, you know what? Thank you so much, Miss F, for calling in and giving your point of view.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. All right, the phone lines are open, 323-488-3149. We are talking about, this beef and how it all came about. All right, you're on the air live with Tonya.
Hello.
What's your name?
Hey, this is Detrail. I was just trying to see if you can give me a kiss. I haven't had a kiss in a couple of years, so I was just trying to see if you can blow me a kiss over the phone, and I'll let you go.
So you're calling in the middle of this discussion about a beef between two.
I'm sorry. I just want a kiss, man. That's all I wanted was a kiss, man.
All right, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that real quick. If you are in a space where you are feeling in distress and you are needing emotional comfort, emotional release, some emotional healing, there are phone lines. Can somebody please Google the telephone number to the suicide prevention hotline and post it in the comments, please? I have one of my admins on. Can you post the telephone number to the suicide prevention hotline? Because that person could very well have been a person who was in need, And hi, I need you to just hold for just one moment while we have a conversation real quick, okay?
Okay.
All right, and that person may have been in emotional need and distress, and I think that this is it actually just really punctuates the point of what it is that we're talking about. So this was a male person who called in, and he felt that what it is that he needed could be interjected into our conversation, and he felt the need to demand his space in this conversation. Even though we're having a serious conversation, he wants me to then put myself into a space to start blowing kisses across the airwaves because he feels that he needs one. And listen, there's nothing wrong with feeling that you need a kiss. There's nothing wrong with feeling that you need affection. However, there's a time and a place, and I don't owe anyone anything. I need someone to put in the telephone number for the suicide prevention hotline. So please do that. And we'll go from there. So thank you so much for calling in. What's your name?
Hi, Tonya. My name is the Nurse and Nerd.
Oh, hi, the Nurse and Nerd. Welcome to the phone lines. What is your comment?
I was kind of a little bit of loss. Chrissie is now having an issue with the other young lady.
Yes, for Harriet. They both have an issue with one another.
Why? Like, both of them, they're so different.
I thought the same thing. I thought the same thing.
Like, for Harriet, she's not that Chrissie's an idiot. I'm sorry to cut you off. But for Harriet, she talks very, and again, Chrissie's not an idiot, but for Harriet, talks very intellectual. The conversations that she has about certain movies or things that are happening around social issues, and a lot of things she doesn't cover. She covers more like when she's discussing things, it's much more into it's not the little shade room post where it's like, oh yeah, that was bad. Not shady stuff. She doesn't do shade. She talks, it's like you're talking to an adult. Whereas Chrissie doesn't do, the shady stuff either, but her stuff is much more easier to kind of digest in a sense. But they talk about two different things.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Thank you so much for your comment. Yeah.
Thanks, Tonya.
All right. All right. Phone lines are open. 323-488-3149. right now we're talking about this whole issue with the beef that exists between For Harriet and Chrissie, and how the beef came about. If you all know something that I don't know, I would love. Thank you so much, Pink. National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is 1-800-273-TALK. And those last call letters are 8255. So 800-273-8255. All right, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so phone lines are open, 323-488-3149. MC is saying Chrissie is practical, For Harriet lives in her head, not in reality, not useful talk. I think that the platforms are just different. The platforms are different. And so, I see some people writing some snarky comments, and I know that my knockouts are not like that. I know my knockouts are not like that. So I don't know what's going on in these comments right now, but I know my knockouts are not like that, right? And this really isn't a matter of whether or not you think one person's content has more merit than the other person's content. This is really a matter of two powerful Black female content creators are having a disagreement about the trans issue. I would love a person who is highly offended by the trans issue to call in and help me understand, why are you offended by another person's plight? Why are you offended by another person's desire for acknowledgement, desire for opportunity, desire to not be killed or harmed or viewed stereotypically? I want to know why that troubles some people, And so someone is saying that there is an equation of femininity to whiteness. Interesting. All right, you're on the air live with Tonya. What's your name?
Hey, Tonya, this is Keisha.
Hi, Keisha. Welcome. So what is your comment this evening about the whole brouhaha?
Well, I think when it comes to Chrissie, I think one thing about her platform, she explains that, she's gearing to a certain demographic.
Mm-hmm.
And it's for that certain demographic. She doesn't want to play fair. She says that a lot, which I don't mind. And me personally, in my opinion, is that I feel that the trans issue is really being brought up by mostly Black women trans. I don't really see too many white people. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They want to be recognized as women. When it comes to white women in their promotion and things like that, I don't really see white female trans, heading over to their, who they are. Their promotion. Always with us.
Gotcha.
People always expect us to be inclusive and what about us? I don't see too many people, including us and willing to help us out. So that's why I think we should be selfish. Because, everybody else is selfish. And I think people need to learn about the LGBT plus community.
Okay.
Before, because everybody is clicked up in that community. They're not a lot of Black people are not going to say that. So, when I was in my early 20s, my mom had got a job. We used to stay in California, and she got we was in Atlanta, she got a job in California. So we moved there. And we moved to a part where it's not that many Black people. It was more Mexicans and white and a couple of Black people. So it was our hairdresser, he was gay.
Okay, I need you to get to the main point because we only have about a minute and a half left.
Okay. So the hairdresser was gay. So one day there was a local magazine. They were saying there was going to be a party.
Okay.
And my brother walks, and my little brother, he was like 5. He said, "Hey, so are you going to that party?" He said, "No, this is for white gays." So at 20 years old, I'm thinking everybody's in cahoots with each other. Everybody's cool. Well, there's a line drawn in between the community.
Okay.
White gays don't let them come into their circles either.
Okay, that's interesting.
So my thing is, why can't a line be drawn with us? They have certain parties and stuff like that. They have certain functions that they do. There's a white gay Republican Party that doesn't, really fool with black gays. Period.
Okay.
Black LGBTQ plus. So, everybody has their own section. Why not us? That's what I'm saying.
Okay, well, thank you. And there's some people in the comments that want you to jump back into the comments and type out your full story, that they wanted to hear the full story. All right, thank you so much for calling in.
Okay, no problem.
All right, phone lines are open. You're on the air live with Tonya. What's your name? I need you to turn down your computer.
Hi, this is...
Okay,
I did. Hi, this is Sherry calling.
Hi, Sherry.
Hi, thank you for answering my call. Yes, I'm calling because I've never heard of For Harriet, but I watch Chrissie often.
Okay.
And I'm not necessarily a dark-skinned black woman, but a lot of Chrissie's content is catered to dark-skinned black women.
And all of her content is tailored to dark-skinned black women, but go ahead.
Yeah, and so, but she's never excluded, people from watching her content. And from what I've listened to regarding her videos, she's never called out people without them calling her out first. Okay. And I believe her main point, which I agree with, is that black women are always fighting for someone. Someone always has their hand out demanding we fight for them, and yet we always get slapped in the face or forgotten in the process. And me personally, I believe that if black women were more open to working with trans women, I think the one condition where we could all actually work together would be our issues being heard, acknowledged, and them actively fighting for our issues to be heard as well. Okay. And what I'm noticing, what's common, well, a lot of women have been withdrawing their support, and a lot of black women are starting to no longer cape for black men.
Okay.
And what I'm seeing is this is creating an outrage where, regular black men are, or what they call it, I'll just say naturally born black men we're seeing, a negative reaction from them. Then we're seeing a negative reaction from trans black men. And I feel like each, black man on one side and one on the other side, they're demanding black women to keep fighting for them. And the common thing that I see is that when we're saying fight for us, protect us, some black women say love us. I don't say that anymore because I don't care. It's always met with something else. It's always, okay, that's not important now. We're fighting for the bigger picture. It's always, we're fighting for the bigger picture. And the reason, a lot of women joined the feminist movement when they did long ago was because they were always being told, we're fighting for the bigger issue. Let's focus on this. Mm-hmm. And so they decided, you know what, enough is enough. We're tired of hearing it. now we're going to go somewhere where we believe our issues as Black women will be heard. So that never happened. We were kind of bamboozled with that one as well.
Gotcha.
But I'm seeing now that that's happening again, where Black women are saying, you know what? We're tired of fighting for everyone else. We're tired of begging you to hear our issues. So now we're going to go somewhere or create a space for us to express our issues so that as Black women, even though nobody else is hearing us, we can kind of create an environment where at least we can talk to one another and kind of comfort one another and build each other up. And
Okay.
I, as a woman, I don't have a problem with trans women at all. My only problem is, it's kind of like the same thing with Black men, the entitlement. Like, you know, we're not going to acknowledge your issues. Black women are killed at extremely high rates. Nobody is talking about that. Not Black Lives Matter, nobody. Between last week and I believe again this week, 31 Black women have been killed to gun violence. And so I think if people are going to have their hand out demanding Black women support them and fight for them, if they're not showing that they're going to do the same for Black women, I feel like we are very ignorant or gullible or trying to play superwoman for a lost cause, because we're not going to be benefited by it in the end. And we never are. History has shown us that no matter how much we fight for everyone else, nobody fights for Black women.
Thank you. We've come upon 5 minutes, so thank you for calling in. I'm going to jump and take the next caller. Thank you. I appreciate your commentary.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Okay, so I want to keep the calls around 5 minutes because it gives more people a chance to be able to call in. And I know what it's like to be in an audience trying to call in and really not being able to get through. So I want to keep the calls concise. You're on the air live with Tonya. What's your name?
This is Bree.
Your name is Bree? Are you a troll?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Marie.
Okay. Hi, Marie. It's just your voice sounded a little trollish at first. I wasn't sure, but thank you, Marie, for clearing that up.
I don't even know what a troll is, but okay. It's all right.
All right. So
Okay.
So talk to me. What's your comment this evening?
Well, I don't know the two
Content creators?
individuals that you all are speaking on tonight. I don't really follow them. But I don't have a problem with the transgender LGBTQ something plus. My thing is this. I like to take everyone back to Sojourner Truth when she was at the first women's convention. They can Google it and look it up. She said, "Ain't I a woman too?" That speech that Sojourner Truth made. We as Black women haven't even been, identified as women. Me, myself, I can say this because I'm also a dark-skinned Black woman, but I bring home the bacon and I cook it and I clean up the dishes afterward. I mean, am I ever going to get a break? Everyone always say, "Oh, you can handle it, you're strong." But I'm not a man, I am a woman. And that is the only issue that I have. You can't expect me to run to your rescue. Like we as Black women always do. Somebody in trouble, we got to help them. It's our time now. It's our time, and Sojourner put it back in 1858 or somewhere around there. And ain't I a woman too? I'm a woman.
Okay. All right.
And I was born a woman. And I don't agree with the media when it comes to how much is exposed about that, because I'm having that conversation with my youngest right now. My brother's grandson seen something, and they need to write a book about how to explain this to the kids.
How to explain what? When
they see a transgender person.
Okay.
They were born the man, and then they change, and
children are some of the easiest people to explain anything to. If you could explain a person from the North Pole flying through the air, simultaneously delivering gifts through a chimney, even when you're in an apartment and don't have a fireplace, children could understand very complex ideas. It's adults that have the issues understanding. So
exactly, a lot of us, I'm gonna go there. A lot of us, we need that education as well, to help us to explain to our children when we have those questions pop up. You don't want to raise a derogatory or racist or homophobic, as they say, type of child, an adult. You don't want to raise that type of person. I raise my children to love everyone, but when it comes to stuff like that, I can't.
How old are your children now?
Oh, mine, they pretty much grown except for the 13-year-old.
Oh, okay. They know about trans already by now, I'm telling you that much.
Oh yes. So
just tell your children that people were born as a little boy or a little girl, but they had a feeling on the inside that they were something different, and so they decide to express themselves in the ways that they feel. If they feel like wearing a pink shirt, they wear a pink shirt. If they feel like wearing their hair long, they wear it long. A lot of the things that we attribute to women are really, it's not gender specific. Like my father got married in 4-inch platform heels in the 70s. So, what used to be a style for a man, I went to the Middle East and saw men in long dresses holding hands. And the dresses were called, I think they were called jalabiyas. That's the African word for it. But a lot of the things that we consider to be masculine or feminine really changes with the times. People have to wear what they feel comfortable in. So listen, thank you so much for calling in. We have come to the 5-minute mark.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, phone lines are open. All right, you're on the air live with Tonya. What's your name?
Hey, Tonya. This is Deep Mind Unraveled.
Hi, Deep Mind Unraveled. I forgot to ask the last caller, Marie, where she was from. I wanted her to shout out whatever city, town, or province gave her that cute accent. But Marie, you can write it in the comments. I want to know where you're from. All right, go ahead. Talk to us.
All right. Well, I'm calling from a small town in Georgia by the name of TKO, Georgia.
Okay.
Right? I know many people might not have known about. So I'm not from Atlanta. I'm like north of Atlanta, right?
Let's jump
but
into
I'm
the
calling
topic.
because I wanted to say that, I know both Chrissie and I know for Harriet as well. I listen to both of them. But what I wanted to say is that at least Chrissie has standards, right? We are all supposed to have a certain level of standards. Chrissie has drawn a line in the sand to what she accepts and what she doesn't accept. Okay. She has already told everyone, hey, this is where I stand, and this is what I deal with, and this is what I won't deal with. And I respect her for that. I respect her for her audience, for her speaking out on all of dark-skinned women. I'm not dark-skinned, but I respect her for that. You see what I'm saying? So and when it comes down to trans women, if you are not a natural woman, if you did not come out of the womb a woman, then in my opinion, right? In my opinion, this may not be everybody's opinion, but in my opinion, then you are not a real woman.
Right. Mm-hmm. Let's pause for a moment and let's jump backward. So you said Chrissie has standards.
Yes.
Chrissie has standards, right? For Harriet has standards too. And for Harriet's standard is that her movement is all inclusive. That is her standard. So because a person's standard is different doesn't mean that they don't have a standard. So I'm a little confused about that. And so you said that.
But that's fine. And I understand that everybody's standards is different. Like some people's standards is to move beyond, let's say, post 2. And some people's standards are saying, well, you know what, I won't go past post 3.
Yes,
okay?
Listen,
Chrissie's standards are in line with my standards.
Right. Let's not get stuck on that.
Okay.
Because I'm not. Did you call in to fight with me? I don't understand. Are you going to fight?
No, never, Tonya. I'll never call in to fight with you.
The pandemic got you angst?
No, baby.
Or is it that you need some relief over there yourself? I don't think there's a hotline for that. I don't think there's a hotline. But
listen, girl, no, man. We good. I was just calling to say that I listen to both of them. And go ahead.
Take a deep breath, sister. Take a deep breath. Breathe in with me, okay?
Okay, come on, let's go.
And exhale. And in. And exhale. And one more time. In. And exhale. Okay. All right.
Okay.
So, tell me, why does it trouble you for a trans woman to call herself a woman? Why does that trouble you?
Well, Tonya, it's not that it troubles me, but I go on realistics, on reality, right? Mm-hmm. So realistically, it's not real.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
I'm going off of what biology is, you know? So what science can do is science can turn all these different things into whatever it was that, right? Mm-hmm. But realistically, a girl child is born a girl child, and a boy child is born a boy child. That is what I go on. I don't go on anything else.
Right. So my question then, right? I mean, children play pretend all the time.
Yeah.
Why does it upset you if an adult is playing pretend? What is it about an adult playing pretend that upsets you?
Well, it doesn't offend me. And it's not a big problem to me, right?
Upset. What is it about
But when we are moving in real life, in real time, mm-hmm. I feel that it is important for us to be honest. It is a basis of honesty on morals about who it is that we say that we are. Okay. If you say that you are a woman, or if you say that you are a man, let your truth be your truth.
Okay.
You see?
I feel you on that. All right, so we have come upon 6 minutes. So thank you so much. And I'm going to let the next caller call in. Thank you. All right. So there's some people in the audience who are saying, oh, the woman didn't sound angry, this, that, and the other. Listen, if you called to talk, let's have a conversation. And there's going to be questions that I'm going to want you to answer because we're having a conversation. And also, time is limited, so I need to be able to steer the conversation. And if I'm not able to steer the conversation, then what are we talking about? We can't talk. You're you're live with Tonya. What's your name?
Hi, Tonya. I'm Cassandra.
Hi. Your phone is a little muffled, and I didn't hear your name.
Okay, 1 second. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Cassandra, and I just wanted to call up. I'm going to be talking about the trans situation, but when it comes to for Harriet and Chrissie, to be honest, I think they're more alike than different. I just think, their content is more alike than different. Because Chrissie has talked about her stance on, LGBT, and so as for Harriet, I just think maybe they disagree about the spaces that trans people are, that should be allowed to come into. Do you agree with that?
I'm sorry, give me just one moment. I just need to put someone in timeout because I'm not interested in the buffoonery inside my comments, you know? You know what? My screen is too hot. Admin, there's a person by the name of JGS. Can you put that person in timeout for me, please? Because my screen is too hot for me to do it. JGS, put them in timeout. The person who claims that I was gaslighting the last caller, because the person is speaking big words outside of their depth. So if you could do that, that would be great. I didn't hear your the thing that you said. Please go back for me.
Oh, I think that Chrissie and Harriet may disagree on where trans women are allowed to be, as far as safe spaces.
Yeah.
I think that's what they're disagreeing. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, that was your whole comment?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that was what they were disagreeing on.
Yeah, so basically, for those of you who are just coming in, for Harriet and Chrissie are having a beef right now. And the beef is basically, for Harriet feels that the movement should be all inclusive, that it benefits us to be able to traverse with trans women as well and to respect their space as women. Chrissie feels that trans women are not women and that actually attempting to bring them into the movement masculinizes Black women, and she's not here for that. And she feels that her content is for biological women, dark-skinned biological women. That's who her content is for. And also dark-skinned biological women who want to make money, uplift themselves in life, and can put health and fitness and femininity as some of their goals. So that's where they break. And for Harriet seems to feel that, you know, being slim and being the traditional idea of feminine is really attempting to align yourself into a white space. That's what I gathered. If I'm wrong, somebody else can correct me. But yeah, so that's what I gathered for everyone who is coming in late. So thank you so much for calling in.
Yeah. Thank you, Tonya. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Okay, the phone lines are open. And listen, the beef between For Harriet and Chrissie, it saddens me. Because I feel like us as Black women, I feel like it doesn't behoove us it doesn't make sense for us to be out here fighting each other. All right, you're on the air live with Tonya.
Hello, this is Raphael.
Hey, Raph, how are you?
How are you? I'm wonderful. It's been a long time.
Well, didn't you call in during the last show or not? No.
No, I was listening, but I didn't call.
Oh, okay. So what's your comment about these topics? Because you're male, so I'm curious.
Yes, well, okay, believe it or not, I am a big fan of both of these women. I listen to a lot of you queens and goddesses on YouTube, and I get a lot of advice, even though none of their programming is especially geared towards me, but I believe in leveling up yourself and understanding society from a progressive lens can really be helpful for everyone. So I totally study what Chrissie says, I totally study what For Harriet says, and of course what you say. So this is an interesting topic, and I'm actually glad they're having a beef because they come from such different camps. It's important to have this dialogue. It has to happen.
Why are you happy that they're having the beef? How does the beef make things better?
I feel like anyone can learn from both of them. And again, they're coming from opposite angles. You know, it was so important what For Harriet said about acquiescing to white standards of beauty so white people can feel comfortable. We have to acknowledge that. But also, Chrissie talks about how dark-skinned women and Black women in general have been taken advantage of. She uses important words like muling or caping about these roles that dark-skinned women are constantly expected of, or people are forced them into for centuries, and it has to stop.
Okay. And so what is it as a man that you get from For Harriet's content?
Well, again, sorry, again, I can't. Sorry.
Yeah, no, elaborate on
so
that
excited
for
to be
me.
here. But politically, I'm a very progressive person. I lean left. I think that as long as we help the poor and help those at the margins of society, we're leaning in the best direction possible. The forgotten people who are powerless.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you get political stuff from hers, and you get the hypergamy from Chrissie.
Absolutely.
Okay, all
They're
right.
both very important.
Well, listen, I appreciate you calling and giving your point of view. Thank you.
Thank you, Tonya.
All right. All right, phone lines are open, and listen, trans lives matter, Black trans lives matter, Black lives matter. I don't have any issue saying any of that. You're on the air live with Tonya. What's your name?
Hi, my name is Sunny, and I am a first-time caller, but a long-time fan.
Hold on, Sunny, your voice sounds so much like mine. This is
Does
crazy.
it really? Awesome.
To me,
I love
it
your
does. Listen, if you all think her voice sounds like mine, put up the number 4. Because when you said, I was like, wait a minute, is this an echo? All right. I know my voice is a little bit deeper, but your voice sounds so much like mine. All right. So interesting.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah. So, here's what I have to say about all of this. I think that, because I'm seeing a lot of people in the comments who are like, oh, I love for Harriet, but she's wrong. Someone wrote trans women don't even like Black women, so why are they trying to be like us? I really think that, and I say this as a scholar, I am a PhD student, and I study racial and gender inequality.
Oh, you hear that? I sound like a PhD student. Thank you. What can I say? And you know what? I have to stop you real quick. What type of line are you calling in on? It sounds completely digital. Like I've never heard a phone line like yours before.
It's just my cell phone. What do you mean?
Really? Well, who's your service provider? Because I need to make a switch.
I actually have Sprint, which is famous for being terrible. So I'm not sure you want to switch to Sprint.
Well, forget that then. All right. Sorry. Go for it. So you are a gender studies PhD student.
Yes, indeed. So I study racial, gender, and class inequality, which is understood and usually conceptualized as intersectionality. So obviously I gotta rock with Kim on this one. Everyone's calling her Harriet. Her name is not Harriet. Her name is Kim Foster. She created For Harriet. For Harriet is the platform and the YouTube channel, blah, blah, blah. But basically, because Kim is a scholar.
I don't think any of us know whether or not Chrissie's name is really Chrissie. I'm just calling out the channel names.
Well, the thing is, yeah, exactly. And that's what I think is interesting, too, is as far as I know, I've only seen a couple of her videos, but I'm a big fan of Kim's. Chrissie doesn't even show her face. We don't really know a lot about Chrissie, whereas Kim is a lot more public of a figure. But beyond that, the reason that I think that folks are not understanding the importance of context is that they don't perhaps know the history of the Black body in this country. And that, that's so cliche to say, but the fact of the matter is Black people, men, women, were not considered to be fully human. And so the femininity that they're saying, many of Chrissie's supporters are saying that Kim is trying to take away from Black women, because I see this on my Twitter feed, that femininity was taken by white supremacy. Black women were treated the same, if not worse in many ways, than Black men, because they were the ones whose bodies were used to produce labor, literal creators of the American empire. So Black women were long seen as not feminine. So essentially the idea is we need to really be deconstructing and examining our notions of gender. And what is it? And this is my question to all the women who are in the chat saying really transphobic and harmful things. What is it that you think you gain by denying trans people access to womanhood? Do you truly believe that Black trans women are the reason that Black men treat so many of us like worthless? Do you really think that if we say trans women, y'all, we don't want nothing to do with you. We don't have the same struggles. You're fake. We're biological. Do you really think that that's going to make Black women become more desirable, not within our own communities, but in society at large?
Okay,
I don't
you know
feel
what?
that
Well, you know what?
that's something
Can you hear me? You and I can have that
Yes.
conversation because
Yes.
I think that the space, I think that each person's space should be respected, and I think that each person should hold their own space. So me personally, I don't think that trans women, because I heard For Harriet say this, and you know what? One thing that you can do, if you watch For Harriet's video, she said that she had a video with two young ladies, and she did a snippet of why she feels that trans women should be in the movement. She said that she felt that the answer was perfect. I looked for that snippet and I couldn't find it. So if you know the snippet and you know the reason, you can definitely share that with me. Me personally, I think that it's important for trans women to listen. If we're going to fight as Black people, and we're all going to fight for Black rights, that's one thing. But for a trans woman to say, I am a woman and I'm going to enter this fight is not it's not comparable. And I think that it becomes convoluted, and I think that it begins I think you know how you that were already there. I personally feel that if trans women were allowed to bilaterally exist in the Black women's movement, that there's an overlapping of things that both parties have in common. However, the agendas are different. And I think that it's a very dangerous place to be in. And I honestly, personally, the way I feel about it, when I saw that the trans woman on the Sports Illustrated cover, it clicked for me that trans women are actually being used for a much greater agenda. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but just like in the Matrix, I feel that we as humans, we've been wanting to clone humans openly. And I think that trans women are being used to be able to push the agenda of creating laboratory wombs, places where human beings can be mined and farmed. That's how I personally feel.
Wow.
And
okay.
I think.
Well, what I was going to say really quickly, there are two things I picked up on, because you said, I feel like when you have them to exist bilaterally, trans women and cis women, right, it gets convoluted. I'd love to know what you mean by that. But the second response is, when you state that trans women are being used for an agenda, you're removing the notion that trans women, that model, could just have wanted to be on the cover of Sports Illustrated because it's a great honor. So I think that sometimes when people talk about trans people, they remove their humanity from them, and a lot of people actually do this with Black feminists. People say this about Kim all the time, like Black feminists are being used for an agenda to insert conspiracy here.
Tell me your name one more time.
Sunny.
Sunny, okay. Sunny. I don't think that it is about the trans person at all. I believe that trans people are being used for an agenda. And the person who was on Sports Illustrated, it's not their fault that they're being used for this agenda. I personally feel that we are moving towards human beings wanting to produce human beings in laboratories. If you think about the progression, right? How do we get to a point where we can farm and mine human beings in a laboratory? And there's a perfect avenue for that through trans women. So what we can do, if you play chess, if there's anybody out there who plays chess, you can see how one thing leads to another. Like Donald Trump, Kanye, these people are playing chess with the media. Right? And the people who are navigating how our society shows up, like I've been spending some time studying Hitler and how Hitler came to be. Like I don't know if you all know, but Hitler did some amazing things. Hitler created Volkswagen. He created the Beetle, a car that everyone could afford. There were great things that came out of the Hitler regime. However, Hitler was playing. There's a lot of feedback coming from your thing. Hitler was playing chess Hitler was playing chess, and the people who he was using, he used these people to enact mass genocide. Now, am I removing people's humanity by saying you were used by Hitler? No, it's the fact of the matter. And
well, no, that's not. Yeah, no, and I wasn't saying that. I think that wasn't what I meant to convey. What I meant to convey was when I hear folks talk about an agenda as it relates to any person in the LGBTQ spectrum, they talk about their existence as being a part of a plot. So when you make being trans itself, right, like the state of being a trans person as just a convenience for people who are quote unquote playing chess, you dehumanize them, because that's how I've understood people talking about gay people. Oh, this is part of an agenda. You know, when they're gay children, can they just be children? So
yeah,
because
well, you know what I think,
I would love to hear what you were, thinking about when you said the convoluted perspective. When you said, to me, it's too convoluted for cis women and trans women to be a part of the.
Right. I believe that the overlap only goes but so far. And the agenda of a trans woman and the agenda of a woman, of a bio woman, of a woman are very different. They're very, very different. What trans women are fighting for.
Can you tell me, like, how? Can you tell me in what ways? Everyone in what way? It's so rude. It's really funny how disrespectful everybody is being. It's really funny. But sorry, continue, Tonya.
In what ways the agenda is different?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd love to know more about that.
What they want is different. What they want, just if you look at what trans women want.
Okay, so what do they want from your perspective? Because my understanding is that much of what we want is the same. So I would love to know, what your perspective is on what they want.
They want to be women. They want to be women. They want to they want, so basically a trans person, right, is born in a body that doesn't identify with how they feel on the inside. Everything that happens in their life from the moment that they realize that they're in the wrong body, or that they feel that they're in the wrong body, sends them on a trajectory. And being in a space where you are going along this path where, one, you have no uterus, two, you have a penis, three, you were born in a body that you feel doesn't represent what you feel is going on the inside. Four, there's some mental health things that come along with being born in the wrong body. 5, you start going on the journey to actualize yourself as a woman. 6, you go on the path or the journey to decide, do I keep my genitals? Do I take my genitals off? When do I start hormone therapy? So there are a whole lot of other things that go into being a trans woman, and where it is that you want to go. How is it that you want to be? First of all, a trans woman entering into a relationship, the disclosure is, I was born male. There's no underlying disclosure like that for women. The issues are different. The life paths are different. They're just different trajectories.
Okay.
They're different.
So, okay. Thanks for clearing that up with me. I obviously feel really differently. See, I was thinking about agendas, social and political and economic agendas. I think that trans women and cis women obviously have different experiences in many ways, similar to white women who are cis and Black women who are cis, but there are also ways in which they face similar and interlocking oppressions. So, for example, employment discrimination, housing discrimination in the healthcare system, higher rates of intimate partner violence.
And Sunny, we're going to have to get off of the line because we've actually been on for 13 minutes and this is the longest call.
Okay.
I will.
Thank you so much for talking with me.
I will say this before you go, right?
Okay.
If trans women want to fight with women for
Just women.
for issues with women. If trans women want to align with women, and you see, so here we go. When you start saying that, now we have to add the prefix cis on woman to be able to,
Sure.
So you see what I'm saying? There are different agendas that exist. Where now you're expected for a person to hyphenate now. Because you have a hyphenation, now another person must hyphenate to differentiate. And so there's conflict, and one of the things that is my concern is, just like with the white feminist movement, how Black women were brought in for the numbers, and then when all was said and done, the agendas were different. And what ended up happening is Black women's concerns were never addressed. So when it comes to trans women, if trans women want to fight for equal rights and equality and all this other stuff, by all means fight. If you want to say, listen, I'm going to stand on your tile, or now your tile must be hyphenated, or this to be able to allow me into this space instead of a bilateral space, a parallel space where you have your space and you have your agenda, and we fight for the things that overlap. The issue is that, like some people were saying, Black women haven't gotten their piece of the pie. So if you want to fight for there to be more pie, that's one thing. But if you want to fight, oh, I'm the crust. No, you're the crust. No, I'm the crust. You're the cis crust. I'm the trans crust. When there's already just the crust. You know, there's already a thing that exists as woman. That's the XX chromosome. It's as simple as that. It's a biological definition. Now, when we start going into gender, because a person feels a certain way about a gender does not mean that usurps the biological definition of what a womb in is. Because just by the mere fact of the word womb in, a person who is not born with the XX is not a woman. Thank you so much for calling in. Hopefully we'll get a chance to talk again on another broadcast.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And please watch the film Disclosure if you ever have the time. Thanks, bye.
All right, bye-bye. All right, so the phone lines are open, and now everybody wants to call in. The phone number, admin, can you please post the phone number? 323-488-3149. You're on the air live with Tonya.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hi, Tonya. I am from Wilmington, Delaware. My name is Yvette.
Hi, Yvette.
And
welcome.
I wanted to talk about this topic. I feel as though, and I've always said, more so than any other group, I feel as though Black women have been allies to trans women. We do not harm them. We aren't the ones being violent with them. And in some ways, I'm not understanding the push to sort of make us accountable for how Black men sort of treat them by forcing us to accept them into our spaces. And here's the thing, I really believe, and I know without a doubt, that most Black women do not want to see harm of trans women. And I feel that many Black women would love to see them have their own spaces. And I know women who are friends with trans women. I just have the issue with everyone saying that it's transphobic to point out clear biological differences. There are differences between trans women and natural born women, and with Black women in particular. And I think about this because there's even a movement with some trans women. I'm not going to say all trans women, but it's been a movement to even say it's transphobic to mention women's female genitalia and anatomy or organs, and saying women have a uterus or this or that. All women don't have that. It's transphobic. And I'm like, it takes forever for us to get to the point where we're not calling our vaginas cookie jars and this and that, you know, trying to get proper OBGYN care. It's, how can I say, like you said, there are clear differences and we have different needs. We can be allies, but we do have to say that there are clear differences. And I will mention one of the things that, and I think a lot of times Black women feel as though people still view us as the wet nurses of the world, you know, as the mammies of the world. Like we have to take care of everyone else's needs or soldiers for everyone else's causes, and it's not reciprocated. I think a lot of times Black women feel like our voices aren't heard, and then when people are asking to come into our spots, they're not asking nicely. It's you better. So it kind of, I see where both sides are coming, but I kind of understand why Chrissie is taking the stance that she is, because we do need our own spaces.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much. Was there anything else you want to add? You have a few more minutes on your 5 minutes.
Oh, there's nothing else to add.
All right. Thank you so much for calling in. All right. So, you know, listen, it's the phone. Wow. Back to back. All right. You're on the air live with Tonya. If you wouldn't mind holding for just a moment, I need to do a quick commercial break. All right.
Okay.
Support the content that you love to watch. This is my book of affirmation, Self-Love, right here. It is available on Amazon. In 2016, I lived in my car, and it was a harrowing experience. And actually, I did a video series called The Displacement for the Dream Diaries when I was living in my car. I didn't know how I would get out, and things just kept getting worse and worse. And if you know about the law of attraction, whatever you have, life will bring more of that. And if you're in despair, life may continue to bring you more despair. The shift has to come from within you. And I started doing affirmations. When I started doing affirmations, I had an instantaneous shift where I was instantly put into a state of abundance, love, generosity. And when the energy shifted inside of me, my world on the outside shifted. And so I created this book of the most powerful affirmations that I said to myself to allow me to rise out of living in my car and live life abundantly, fully, and loudly. So this book right here is available on Amazon. It is a beautifully illustrated book, and it has everything that you need in it to get started. There are workbook pages where you just rewrite the affirmations. And it's as simple as that. There are people in the audience who have the book. By all means, take some time to let people know what the book has done for you. It completely changes and shifts and brings a lot of amazing things into my life. So thank you. I love this book, and I'm glad that the book that I was used as the vessel for this book to come through. So thank you. Get this book, go to Amazon, search for Tonya TKO and the word self-love, and it's right there. And the link to the book is also in the description. Thank you. All right, you are on the air, so talk to me.
Hey, Tonya, this is Shauna.
Hi, Shauna.
I have your book.
From
okay. Shauna Love Coach. Hey, how are you?
So what has the book done in your life?
This is my first time calling in, and I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. And what prompted me to call in was your previous caller, I think, Sunny, and your facial expression. And I'm like, yes.
Really? Oh, no.
Especially the part when she had asked about, like, what's the difference between, like, with the convoluted question, like, what's the difference between the trans woman and a woman? And you know, like, your face said it all, and I'm like, it's very different. And especially when you mentioned the part about disclosure, when it comes to dating, that's a huge difference. Because to your point, if you're a woman, you're a woman. There's no disclosure, right? And if you're trans, that's when you have that personal journey, you have to disclose at what point you're going to tell the person that you're dating, because you don't want to rob somebody the chance of choosing to be in a relationship, because that man could have his own, you know, if he's getting in a relationship with a woman, like, he may be thinking about wanting to have children, But if you're a trans woman, you cannot do that.
I don't think that's
you know
a good
what I mean?
argument.
So,
I don't think that's a good argument because there are women who are born without the ability to have children. I don't think it's a good argument. I think if there is going to be an argument, that we have to make the argument airtight, and that's not an airtight argument because
I wasn't finished, but that was just one part of it, because I was thinking in terms of, I'm still articulating my thought in terms of like the journey of a woman. A biological woman is different from a transgender woman, to your point, because there are women who can't have children, right? And there are women who have gone through like who could have a child, but there could be complications in that, whether they have a miscarriage, like a trans woman cannot identify with that, or if you're a woman who's able to give birth, you may choose to keep the child or not. So I don't think what I'm articulating is coming the way how I have it formulated in my mind. But I was just thinking, just in terms of the inner journey of a woman, is to your point, versus a trans is very different. So I didn't clear my thoughts properly, but hopefully you could kind of get the point I was trying to make.
Yeah, no, and listen, I know it can be a nerve-wracking experience to call in, especially if this is your first time calling in, etc. So yeah, no, I totally feel you on that. Someone inside of the audience said that women are the only gender who can have children, so it does make a difference. I just don't think it's an airtight argument. I don't think that the reproductive part is an airtight argument.
Part of the children, but I guess the womb part. I guess the womb. I think to be more specific.
I think it's the chromosomes. I think it's there's something about being born biologically male that some men don't want to, no matter how female presenting the person is, there's something about the XY chromosomes that they just are not in. Some men don't care. Some men do. And so to the point of some of the people in the audience, if there's a woman who has had a hysterectomy and she knows for a fact that there's no womb there whatsoever, I think that it's important for her to disclose in the dating process, listen, I don't have a womb and I can't have children, especially if she's in childbearing ages. I think that that's an important disclosure. I think that and you know what, listen, I don't know what it is. I have to interview some men to see why is it that it troubles them so much that a person was biologically born born male. And you know what, one of the things that I think about is what happens if a person is not on their hormonal regimen. So there are many trans people who present as a certain gender, but what happens when they don't have access to those hormones? Does hair start growing out of their face? Is it like Cinderella at the strike of midnight? Does the gender presentation begin to unravel if they are not pumped with something synthetic from the outside? Right. What happens if you don't have access to that? What happens to there's something about just having just the naturalness of having estrogen and progesterone naturally produced by your body, because those are what the organs in your body dictates to have. I don't know.
Well, thank you for it. Yeah. So now So to your point, I do like that. So like you stated earlier, I could see the hold of my what I was going to present, but what you just laid out as kind of, I guess, the core of what I wanted to articulate, but didn't get there. So thank you for bringing that aspect up.
All right, thank you so much.
So that's when we naturally produce estrogen. So,
yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, bye-bye. So someone is saying, I still don't understand how Someone is saying, the comments are going so fast. Someone is saying they don't see how a woman differs from a trans woman. And I'll say this, you know, and you're on the air live, but I just need you to hold for just one moment. Girls, ladies in the audience, I'm going to ask you this question. This question went around on Facebook. Ladies, at what age did you notice that men started looking at you sexually? What was your age? Type your age in the comments. I first started notice that men were looking at me sexually. I'd say I was around 13 years old when I started to develop hips, etc. It was about 13. Someone saying 6, 11, 11, 12, 12. Continue to put the ages up. You're on the air live with Tonya. Tell me your name.
Hi, my name is Sylvia.
Hi, Sylvia.
First time caller.
Hi. So what is your comment?
You say that again?
What's your comment?
Oh, well, first to answer your first question about when men started looking at me sexually, because I developed really early, so probably around 12 or 11.
Okay, so 12,
because I have a lot of estrogen, so.
Okay.
Yes.
So I see.
And then.
I see. Hold on. I see people are putting in 10, 7, 9, 8. All right. Continue.
And my comment would be, just listening to the conversation. It's just, first of all, it's very interesting, this discussion. And also, I think this issue, I think it's really dividing people. And I think that's like the main thing we should look at is like how dividing this is, the fact that people are so ready to, I guess, reject another person just because, you know, of how they identify, you know,
okay.
And what they choose to, sorry, this is so nerve-wracking, what they choose to, like, present themselves as. And personally, I don't really care if somebody chooses to be a trans woman. I think the big issue is, like you said, is they have different agendas, you know? Like, they are aiming and they're going for different things. They're looking for acceptance for themselves. They're not necessarily looking for acceptance of women, you know? Like, they're looking for acceptance of trans women. And I think that's, like, the big issue here. And I think that's why people are, I guess, so mad sometimes, like, when we're forced to kind of, I guess that's why Chrissie is mad, because we're kind of forced to take up this mantle of protecting everybody and protecting people that identify as women or identify as Black, you know? And it's just kind of like it's a hard thing to.
I'm exhausted. I'm sorry. I'm exhausted. I'm sorry. I'm exhausted. I'm sorry. I'm exhausted. Because this is an exhausting conversation. I don't even understand how. I just don't understand. My mind just went to men and how we don't see trans men demanding that men accept them as men. You don't have a dick. God damn it! Uterus fucking matters. You don't have a uterus. If you go to men and say, accept me as a man, they'll say, listen, you don't have a dick. You don't have a dick. And I don't understand how it is being just pushed aside as nothing. A man will say you don't have a dick, period. That's it. You have no dick. How are you gonna be a man? You got no dick. And then so people are like, exactly. It's like we are constantly being downgraded and making it seem like our parts don't matter, that our biology doesn't matter. Uterus, man, you're not a woman. You don't have a womb. Simple as that. You don't have XX chromosomes. It's as simple as that. I don't understand how this is a freaking 4-hour-long conversation.
It's a very, because it's like what people were saying in the comments about how for Harriet, is trying to entertain her audience because her audience is very progressive, and this is what the progressive movement is going towards, is accepting and making sure that everyone feels that they're happy and everyone feels that they feel accepted. And it's just kind of like you were saying, like, and if you were a trans man, like, it's very simple. You don't have a dick. So
it's as simple as that, because you could go up there with all of your muscles, all of the hair on your face, your head on the top balding from taking testosterone. You could go up there in all of your masculine man, and they will say, "Where is your dick? You do not have a dick." It's simple as that.
I think that's like the...
And then somebody's talking about female genital mutilation. You still have a womb. You still have processes on the inside that say now it is time to pump out progesterone and estrogen. Progesterone and estrogen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I don't understand how you are coming to me and saying I am a woman and you are not. It's like, I don't have a problem fighting alongside anybody. Fight with me if you want to fight with me. But if you're going to say your body parts don't matter, your womb does not matter, your position where you hold the space in this life on this earth as the gatekeepers, women are the gatekeepers. I ask you all, how early in your life had you noticed that men started looking at you sexually? We had people putting in numbers as early as 4. The way that a girl is socialized is different from the way that a boy is socialized. Whether or not you have that feeling on the inside where you feel that you are a woman, you are still socialized in a different way. You still have different hormones that run through your system naturally. And testosterone is an aggressive hormone. The male mind is different. So even if you don't have even if you don't have a womb, there are glands that secrete the hormones that keep you female, that keep you feminine.
And I think that's why in this issue, it's because, like you said, testosterone is very aggressive. And I think that's why trans women are very aggressive. And
they don't see it.
Privilege.
And they don't see how they bring their male privilege into a female space. I got into an argument with a trans person because when I was trying to figure this whole thing out, I made several videos, and I got into an argument with a trans person live on air, and I had to say, listen, your penis is showing. From the way that this person aggressed upon me on the phone, women don't behave that way. So it's like, you want to say that you're a woman, but you also want to aggress upon me like a goddamn man?
Exactly. There's this trans YouTuber called Cat Black, and I love her videos are very informative. But the main thing I notice whenever I watch her videos is just such big energy in a way. You know, like, it's kind of like, I am telling you what you should believe, and you should just believe it. It's not, I feel like femininity is so much more of a, like, not to be crude, but so much more of a seduction, you know, but like in a way of like, it's a conversation, you know, like, but I think with men, it's like it's just far more aggressive. It's like
yes, exactly. And you know what? Listen, I'm sorry, if we can't get into a space, how do you expect to fight alongside a person and you cannot enter into that relationship with respect? Put some respect on my womb. If it wasn't for women, none of us would be here. None of us. It takes one woman to carry one child for 9 months. This whole world can continue with just a handful of men. You have 1 million men and one woman, they will beat each other and themselves and kill her trying to get to her. You have 1 man and 1 million women, and society can continue on. The female body is important to civilization. And it's like, how do you expect to fight with me when you cannot acknowledge that the space that women hold is as the gatekeepers for life? That matters. Womb matters. Estrogen, testosterone, femininity matters. The female mind matters. And it's like, don't expect to try to come along and fight in this fight with us when you won't even respect our humanity. I'm sorry for filibustering. I'm going to give you some time to talk, and then we're going to jump off the line.
No, it is okay. I love you. Your passion inspires me every day. I just want you to know that. And especially when you are very passionate about a subject, I can definitely hear it. So you are okay. And I just think my final point would be to everyone that's listening right now is like Tonya said, like, we are the gatekeepers of humanity. And I think we should all remember that and don't give a fuck about the fact that these trans women want to be a part of our space. Like just be in your own space, you know? Like, accept your femininity and don't try to compare your femininity to somebody who is not a woman, you know? Like, don't try to say, I think when I heard that Harriet said that, or when Chrissie said that having these trans women in our space will make us more masculine, or make black women more masculine, it's kind of like, no, that's a trans woman. That's not a black woman. You know? Yes. I feel like we should focus on our own femininity and focus on bringing ourselves up and not worry about tearing down somebody else, because that's dividing our energy, you know?
Thank you. And so listen, I would love to talk to you forever, but I do have to let you jump off because there are millions.
No, it's okay.
Thank you so much for calling in.
Yeah, thank you. Have a great day.
All right. Phone lines are open. There are people who are asking for the number 323-488-3149. 323-488-3149, and the people who are on my platinum members are pushed to the top of the line. You get a special phone number to call in, and you get to the top of the line. So that's how it goes. If you want to know how to join on a platinum level and subscribe to my content, go to TonyaTKO.com, click on the link that says podcast, and it's right there on how to join. It's like, the phone line, there's so many calls coming in at once that they're butting up against one another. So let me take this opportunity while the calls are bumping each other out. I'm sorry to have to go off like that. It's just that I'm tired of having our natural biology minimized, because some people, listen, when I turned a certain age, the natural hormones that came through my body sent the signals of fertility and adult womanhood, femininity into my body. I naturally grew these. I didn't have to go out and have them implanted in. Yes, you're on the air live. Give me just one moment. There's a huge difference between volleying for your space as a trans woman and holding your space as a woman. There's a huge difference. You're on the air live. What's your name?
Tia.
Kia like the car, or Tia like Tia Maria?
Tia like Tia Maria.
Okay. Hi, Tia.
Hi. I just want to say I've been a follower of yours for a while, and thank you for taking my call. Listening to you all talk, I jumped in a little bit late, but I was reminded of when I got birth in September. I went to the hospital not knowing what I was going to have, and I was having a C-section, and they pulled the baby up, and they showed my husband, who was sitting at the head of the bed, and he said, "It's a girl." And you know how your life flashes before your eyes. All those feminine experiences flashed before my eyes, and I said, "It's a girl." The rites of passage that she will have, the womb that she carries, the eggs that my mother carried that became her, all of that means so much. And I have a son, but having that girl, the feeling was completely unique, knowing that I had a woman to build into this world.
Yes, exactly.
That it's something, I grew up, I didn't have a very innocent mother teaching me how to be a girl, but I would look at women, how they walked and how they talked and how they dressed, and how to wear makeup. Being a woman is a whole experience.
Yes, it really is.
And it's not something that you can just take because you want it. You can't just put that label on yourself and have all of that from the moment you're born. And they say it's a girl.
Yeah.
And everything that comes with that here on out. So for me, it's very, I've had a non-binary woman tell me that it was wrong for me to label my child a girl. That's aggressive. What did she say? It's an act of violence for you to take away her choice of who she wants to be. And this is a non-binary person. They said this to me. And I said, do you know how long it took for my people in this country to be considered humans? And you want to tell me that I can't call my daughter a girl, a female, a woman? We was tables the same rate as a table as a piece of furniture 100 so years ago.
Well, you know what? You can say, listen, I gave birth to a little womb holder. To the holder of a womb. Listen,
right.
You know one thing that I wanted to say, since you just had a baby and you have sons too, even just there's a difference. Even just changing the pamper of a girl and changing the pamper of a boy is very different, because there's special care that you have to take with the female child to make sure that the fecal matter does not get into. There's a tenderness, there's a delicacy to being a female baby, where you have to make sure that you have to clean out the vagina so that the fecal matter does not get into the vagina. There's a delicacy that exists, and this child right here has to be handled with a certain level of delicacy, just from the mere biology alone.
Right.
Just from the mere, there's a difference.
And I don't even I post my son's pictures on Facebook when he was born and when he was little and coming up, and with my daughter, I'm very cautious with her image.
It's sad.
I don't need people to look at her and pray on her or comment on how chubby she is, or she's going to be such a whatever people say. I'm very protective of that image.
Exactly.
It's a different experience as a whole. From the moment they told me it's a girl, it's a different experience. You cannot you cannot throw a label on yourself and get that.
Yep, because the way that you socialize a person who carries a womb is a lot different than the way that you socialize a person who sperminates. It's as simple as that. Thank you so much for calling in.
Thanks for taking me.
Okay. Oh my goodness, we've already gone over 2 hours. Listen, You're on the air live with Tonya. What's your name?
Hi, it's Tamara is my name.
Hi, Tamara. How can I help you?
Hi. So, it pains me, the conversation in the chat, because there are very clear differences between excess chromosome women and trans women. That is a misnomer. I think the issue is with the women that come into these spaces and disrespect the experiences are taking over the conversation.
Okay.
And you do not have to ever tolerate disrespect of your experience. And I do know a lot of trans women. I work in the fashion space. That's where, going to the balls and all of that came about.
Okay. That's where what?
I don't, like that whole Nick Cannon BS. I never, ever, since he was wearing a blonde wig, like when we were back into Children on that little show that he did, since then, I never caped for him.
Okay.
I don't give a damn how much money you have. So when you have a trans woman that comes into an experience and she's talking all that and all that BS, I do not even recognize. I don't see it. It's out of my, because you're not respecting the space. But when you come into my space, like there's a woman, her name is Hope, I believe, who is a trans woman that respects the experience, that respects the difference, that knows that there is a distinct difference between how she was raised as a black boy, realizing that she was trans as she got older and changing into a woman, versus someone that was born and raised a black woman, respects that, cherishes that, and comes to the space of that knowledge, versus someone that wants to negate that and just say, here I am, I'm a woman. And I think that when we convolute everyone into the space of the most negative and loud and fuckery, is where we get this transphobia that comes up. Because when you say all or they, or you're negating the experience of people that do come in, saying that I need to learn from you how to perform womanhood, because now I've come into the knowing that in my mind, in my spirit, that I'm a woman. And I feel like,
and you know what? And I'll say this, right? I'll say this. And I talked about this in live shows before. I don't even believe that all black people should unify or can unify. I think that black people who are of similar mindset can unify. Other than that, I'm not trying to unify. I'm not trying to, people ask me why I'm not roving around in the ghetto trying to find allies. I talked about this on a show where I did the panel with the 5 African men. And I'm like, I'm not trying to go there to try to force somebody into my point of view. I'm rolling with people who already have the point of view so that we can make moves together. So when it comes to trans women, there's a portion of trans women who have animosity towards women. There's a portion of trans women who don't. However, I'm rolling with people who are of like mind. Look, if you got a penis, if you got white skin, if your hair is straight or whether your hair coils on end, if we are similarly yoked in terms of the fight that we're fighting, we could roll together. That's how I feel. Because I have Caucasoid friends. I have Caucasoid friends who still hear me talking all my stuff in my videos, and they're like, thank you, Tonya, for saying it. Or, Tonya, I learned something. And I've had Caucasoid friends who have tried to fight with me about my feelings and my beliefs. And they're gone now. They're gone.
And it's, you know what? And the craziest part of it, I have...
Hold on. I'm sorry. I need to pause for just one moment. I'm so sorry. There are people in the comments arguing about the color pink. When the color pink first came out, it was a boy's color because it was a lighter color of red. Red was considered a masculine color.
Absolutely. And high heels and the whole thing, and wearing wigs and the whole thing, all white, male.
Right. So we can't really argue that pink is a woman's color because they made the switch and pink became a girl's color. So pink, if we could just really keep our eyes on the bigger prize, that would be great. So listen, last comment, and then I'm going to let you go because we've been on for 6 minutes.
Yeah, I think we just need to really, because in my years on this earth, I have seen misogyny come from female persons.
Exactly.
In various ways, to the point where I can't even freaking tolerate it. So to say that, you know, to pinpoint trans women as being the gatekeepers of, we really need to see people as people, as you said, and cut out the bullshit. Everyone else that's not riding with us, they don't exist. It's kind of what we're taught, you know, what I was taught in my church. God doesn't see sin.
Okay.
He only sees, so he doesn't even see you. I don't see the white people that don't fuck with me. I don't see them. The trans women, trans men that don't fuck, I don't see them. The black women that are not on this ride, I don't see them either. When that's where it comes with the phobia, is when it's an irrational fear of something that does not concern you, to not affect you in this visceral way that I'm seeing it all through the comments.
Well, you know what? I think that there are things, sometimes there are things that trouble a person. And then also, I'm not going to talk about the fact that you're on these airwaves calling God a he and talking about sin when these are ideas of indoctrination that were pushed on us by professors. So I ain't going to say nothing about that. I'm just going to move on. I think there are a lot of people who feel a certain feeling on the inside, and they don't know why they feel that way, and they can't articulate it. So they just have this visceral response, and they can't articulate what's wrong. And I think that some of what it is that we discussed tonight, the disrespecting of their biology, the non-acknowledgement, the thinking that if you support with some hormones and get some implants, that just because you feel that you're a woman, all of a sudden you're a woman. So listen, I'm gonna let you jump off the line. Thank you so much for calling in.
All right, thank you so much.
All right. All right, phone lines are open. I'm going to take calls for a little while. This call has been trying to get through for the past hour. You finally made it through. You're on the air with Tonya. What's your name?
Oh, hold on. Okay, hi. My name is Nina. Okay, Nina. So basically, I'm just going to be really quick. I am having a really hard time with this conversation. You've been talking about it for a second, and I was thinking about calling in. I attempted to call in before you got upset a little bit. So I've been, listening to both the content creators. I enjoy them both. I have no issue with trans women. I want their safety, them to thrive, all that stuff. My issue was that we need to unify and lose our identity as women because we need to fight white supremacy. Now, this is a hard thing for me, just simply because we're saying that white supremacy created femininity and gender. And for me, that's hard because I'm Ethiopian. Okay. And we've never been colonized, and we've never been part of the transatlantic slave trade. So our femininity and our gender did not come from white people. So to hear that was just, it doesn't make any sense to me. Gender and femininity is a universal concept. It's not a nationality where, African American women need to, give up their femininity and gender and morph into unison with trans women to fight white supremacy. And no other culture would ever come to women like this, except for African American women. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying.
No one. There's not one culture on this planet that would come to their women and say, you must accept being the same as trans women. Yeah. That's just not going to happen. Right. And it's sad. It's sad to see that we would even have a 4-hour conversation about this. It's ridiculous. Yeah. We're women. Yeah. That's it. I mean, even me as an Ethiopian woman, I know that I'm in a Black women's space. If I can know that, why can't trans women? If I go to a Nigerian space, I know it's for Nigerian women, and I'm there. But it's not for me particularly. I mean, we're all women, but I can differentiate these spaces. Why can't trans women do that? And nobody would ever ask any other nationality or a culture of women to do this for them. It's only because it's African American women, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, it is. And one more thing, I went to Cynthia G's page at one point, and I saw her in the comment section, and they were talking about religion and whiteness and Christianity and how it comes from whiteness and don't practice Christianity. And I called in and I was like, well, Christianity existed in my country before white people, predating Europeans, blah, blah, blah. We've been practicing for 2,000 years. And she said, well, you haven't lived for 2,000 years. who, you know, like, prove it to me or whatever. I guess it's not something that's known. I don't know. White people didn't create everything, is all that I'm saying. And they didn't create Christianity. They didn't create Islam. They didn't create Judaism. They didn't create femininity or gender or any of that. It's like, I don't know. So that's all I'm going to say, really. It's sad to see women having to defend their womanhood.
Okay, there are people in the comments who are saying that Ethiopia was colonized, but not as colonized as long as other nations were. I don't know.
No, Ethiopia was not colonized. In 1935, Ethiopia was occupied by the Italians, just like the French were occupied by the Germans. So if you're going to say that the French were colonized, then you can say Ethiopia was colonized. But if you're not, then you're not. We've never been colonized. We're occupied for 5 years, just like any other country in World War II.
Okay, and you know what? You bring up a great point. And so you claim that Ethiopians were following the Bible for 2,000 years, or they were following Christianity for 2,000 years? Is that what you're saying?
I am.
Okay. Listen.
It's one of the first Christian nations on the planet. The Ethiopian eunuch is referenced in the Bible. There's churches that predate churches in Europe. I mean, this is not like something I'm making up. This is just not basic world history.
Yeah, you know what? There's some more research that I need to do, because I know, well, one of the things that I've learned is that there's no physical proof that a person by the name of Jesus ever walked the earth. That there was no J in the Hebrew language for there to even be the name Jesus.
Well, all these Abrahamic religions, whether they're believed in or not, were practiced in Ethiopia for thousands of years. This is not something that I'm not overly religious. This is just part of history. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not forcing anybody to believe anything, but
listen,
like
I hear what you're saying.
anthropology.
I'm just trying to work this out, because from what it is that I heard, Christianity is a hodgepodge religion that was actually taken from, so like the 10 Commandments were taken from the 40 Principles of Mott, and that there were similarities between the story of Jesus and what existed in Egypt, and that Christianity, and then so I don't know how, listen, I don't know who's a theologian in the audience, but the image of the white person, Cecil, or whatever his name was, the one who was the molester, the demented one, whose image is the one that was used as Christ in the Industrial Revolution.
Oh, you're talking about the Renaissance and how Catholicism put the face of Jesus as what we know today, or what most of the world knows today?
Right. When was that picture? When did that picture begin to be used? Because Christianity has been a tool. It has been a tool.
Right. So this is
right.
So the Coptic Church and the Ethiopian Orthodox Church predate Catholicism. So this is the Renaissance. You can go into Ethiopia and go into the churches. I want you to look up Lalibela. These are all places that still exist today. You could go in there and see the pictures of the angels, malaks, in the cave. You could see in the churches themselves, and they look just like me, and you. So the Renaissance period in Catholicism is completely different. That's 1,000 years beyond, hundreds of years past. So Ethiopia became a Christian nation, or during Isaac. Ethiopia became a country in 980 BCE.
And so, but who wrote the Bible, though? I'm so confused by all of this, because I thought white people wrote the Bible.
Okay, well, they wrote the King James Bible, but they took it from Aramaic, Hebrew, and Ge'ez. And Ge'ez is an Ethiopian language. So those are the three first languages, and then they translated it into English, the King James Version.
Oh, Lord have mercy. All right now.
So basically what I'm saying is white supremacy did not, bring everything about. I live in this country, but clearly, I mean, I can read my Amharic Bible and it tells me and it's history, and I could go to Ethiopia and go to Lalibela, and I can go be feminine, which existed before.
You know what my issue is? My issue is that the vast majority of people today who are Christian, the vast majority of people were indoctrinated into Christianity through the Caucasoid way. That they did not voluntarily pick up Christianity, that they did not come to Christianity, that Christianity was forced into them and forced into them with the picture of a white Jesus. So much so that if you try to tell people that Jesus is brown, they fight you. So listen, I've
seen that. I've come across it, but this is not, these are, hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hello? I'm sorry, I think I lost you?
No, we're here.
Okay, all right, but these are not accurate things. I mean, this is basic, well, I'm not gonna say basic, but these are all things that are written, that you can Google them. It's not a secret. Like any theologian would know this. Anybody who has studied would know this. White people clearly know this.
Yeah, but see, part of my issue is when I was in the Middle East and I went to the ruins where John the Baptist had his church, right? From what it is that I learned from being on the ground and speaking to the scholars and the people who were in these places, Christianity was a cult. It wasn't taken serious as a religion. It was a cult. And it was a cult that was spread after Jesus had died.
Again,
right? So my issue is, right, that Christianity as a cult and Christianity as the religion that we're seeing today is, I think that there's a huge bifraction where it actually veers very far from the original cult of Christianity, something which the Christ himself would have been dead against.
So this is not me fighting any battle about it being a cult. I'm just saying the existence of it predates European perversion of it.
The existence of the cult versus the existence of the religious tool of manipulation.
Okay, if you want to call it a cult, you can, but the existence of Christianity predated European translation of it.
Okay. Listen, it must have, especially if Jesus was not European. Yeah. It had to have predated it if Mary herself wasn't European. However,
he could not have been European,
right?
Because he was from the Middle East.
Europeans took that cult.
That's not geographically possible.
Europeans took that cult and forced it onto people, made the holidays align with pagan holidays, and then implanted it onto people as a tool of white supremacy. So that's my whole thing.
Well, they used it however they used it. We have the original version of it, and we've done well with it, keeping our sovereignty for millennia. So, Christianity is Christianity. I can't argue with you whether it's a cult or it's not a cult. And thank you so much.
All right.
That's all I have to really say.
Thank
that's
you.
Bye.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I'm going to take one or two more phone calls and then we're going to jump off. All right. So we veered really far on that one. We went all the way to the left. I did not expect to get into a religious conversation. I don't even know how it came up. I think because the caller before last started talking about sin, and then I started talking about the implantation of white supremacy embedded in the religious talk of Christianity. So yeah, so listen, phone lines are open for just a little while longer. And I guess I can start. Oh, hold on. Oh, goodness, I'm in the wrong area. Sorry. I turned off the phone lines for a second, but they're back open now. Sorry about that. Sorry. All right, you're on the air live. This is Tonya. What's your name?
Hi.
Hi.
Oh, okay, I'm on. I'm sorry, I have an echo.
No, if you have an echo, you have to turn down your computer. You have to turn on your computer and just listen in through the phone. And so listen, something happened in Ethiopia, something happened in Egypt that the people over the years have become so light. Something has happened that the people in the east part are not Negroid. There's something happened. Something happened. What happened? I don't know. Something happened though. Go ahead, my dear. You're on the air live with Tonya. What's your name?
In the chat, I am known as KW.
Okay, so KW is on the line, and what's your comment, KW?
I'm so glad to talk to you. But anyway,
why are you whispering? Everybody asleep?
My comment basically is that I really agree with you. And as far as the conversation is concerned, it is complicated and it is difficult, but I have to walk outside. Okay, so the first conversation is concerned.
KW is sneaking out the house.
And everybody understands that.
What happened now, KW?
I'm sorry, can you hear me? Am I in a bad spot?
No, it sounds like you were sneaking out the house just a moment ago.
Oh no, I know. I did walk outside, but I didn't sneak out.
Okay.
Certain people have different opinions, and once your opinion is spoken, it can be a little controversial. So I don't want to speak in front of people that I don't want to hear my conversation.
Okay.
It's ridiculous, but that's how things are. Okay, so my opinion is, I agree with you as far as being a woman and respecting our femininity and our gender and everything like that. The issue that I have with the whole trans wanting to invade our space is, like I said, they don't respect what we have to go through as women. The domestic violence, the rapes, the molestation, everything that happens to girls, women in general, they can experience too. Yes, that's not a question. But however, like you said before, they have more of a fighting chance because they're stronger. Okay. And another thing is having trans women being invited into the same space or being looked at or accepted as regular women. I feel like that is a huge problem simply because if you look at a Black woman and you do not know if she is a woman or a man, there is a possibility that I said in the comments, that she will be attacked more severely, more often, simply because, a person is going to be on guard because they don't know. Everyone knows a man is physically stronger than a woman. That is one of the repercussions of accepting as a trans woman as a regular woman. That's dangerous. That is really dangerous. I know I sound funny. I live in a predominantly white area, and this is not a conversation in this area. They have their separate spaces. It just doesn't happen. But I know from living in a white area and growing up in a white area, some of the thoughts and some of the process that can go along with some of the things that are talked about and said. And I'm telling you that it will be an all out on regular women if they are seen as no different. That's like you.
Yeah, but you know what? So this
road.
this is what I'll say. This is what I'll say because I want to keep the call short too. But nobody has the right to put their hands on another person, and a person who is beating up another human being. Any reason that they're giving for beating them up is an excuse. It's not because the person is trans. It's because the person is violent and the person is abusive. It's as simple as that. It's like white people are not racist towards us because we're black. White people are racist, or the racists are racist because they have some sort of mental disorder, or they're sick and they got some delusions.
But no, it's not about the point of being black or white. It's just the point of just not knowing what a person is. Like, for instance, if you're walking down the street and you see a person acting all wild and crazy, and you see a person acting calm, more people are going to assume, not saying that it's correct or the right thing to do, they're going to assume that the person that's more calm is a calmer person just in general. And they're going to assume that the person who is, acting crazy and yelling, that they might be drunk, they might be high, or they just are a person that's wild in general. It's not, it's just a perception.
Yeah, but you know what? Your argument is, if we allow trans women into the movement, then men will begin beating up natural-born women, thinking that they're trans women. And my whole thing is, nobody should be beating up anybody.
I'm not saying that men will. I say that they will start, but will automatically start. I'm saying that could be a consequence or repercussion of that happening. Just like many of those things that we talked about, it could be a consequence and it could be repercussion, and that's just one of the many that I would be worried about, or that I thought about that could be introduced to the subject. Yeah, people are going to be violent and they're going to do what they do, but as a consequence, that could be one of them.
People want to know if you're safe.
I'm not saying that.
They want to know if you're safe.
I'm sorry?
There are several people in the audience that want to know if you're safe.
If I'm safe? What do you mean?
They want to know
like S-A-K-E, safe?
Yeah, safe.
Oh, safe like in the church?
No, like you're not in any imminent danger.
Oh.
It sounds like
no, I'm not in any imminent danger.
Okay,
why would I be in danger? I'm just talking on the phone.
I don't know. There are several people who asked the question. That's why I brought it up.
No. I'm just saying, like, you we're just having a candid conversation. So, everybody has their opinions and thoughts,
whispering,
different things that could possibly
coming out of the house to be able to talk.
That could happen.
No, I think it's because you were whispering.
And the reason why I say that, because that whole black women are strong, that black women are independent, that strong black woman trope, and they already see us as more masculine than men. I feel that would add to it, and that's the reason why I'm saying that, because if you see a lot of times on the news or in media, even though they overhype things, you see black women being they're being more manhandled a little bit more than our white counterparts. So that's the reason why I brought that up, because of course, it's just part of the conversation. It's just something that could happen. Not saying that it was, or not saying that it will, or even if it does right now. But it's just something that is a possibility.
Thank you so much for calling in and giving your point of view. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. All right, phone lines are open, 323-488-3149. I'm probably going to take one or so more phone calls. You're on the air live with Tonya. What's your name?
Hello, Tonya. This is Ida calling.
Hi, Ida?
Yes, hi. How are you doing? I spoke to you a while back, earlier during the corona stuff.
Okay, wonderful. So tell us what your comment is.
So I watched both Harriet and Chrissie as well, and I started side-eyeing for Harriet when she said that it was transphobic to not want to date a trans person.
Say what now?
And so she said it was transphobic not to want to date a trans person.
Really?
So let's say you said you don't want to. Hello?
Yeah.
And I started side-eyeing it because that really made me very uncomfortable for particularly a Black woman to say that, because you're telling me that if I'm not attractive to that person or body because they're trans, that means I'm transphobic?
Maybe that is a phobia.
No.
Then what is it? It could be a phobia. Maybe it's a phobia.
I'm attracted. I have no fear of them. I actually used to work with a trans man. He was born a woman and then was in the process of transitioning into a man. So I have a phobia, and also one of my issues with the transgender issues, and I said I came in late, but I did hear you saying there might be some kind of a gender. I remember last year, it might be late last year, Canada's oldest rape center was stripped of their public funding because they wouldn't allow trans women into the rape center because they wanted it to be only for biological women. And I think that's when I personally started to question the whole movement, because I was like, okay, if you're an ally of women and you say, or you made us believe that you might understand the experiences of women, biological women, from girlhood to womanhood, you should know why these girls and women would like to have this space for themselves. But the fact that there were people that supported taking funding away from that place, to me, I was like, okay, if you say you're a friend to women and you want to be a woman and you don't understand some of the dangers that we come in, I don't think I want to be an ally.
Got you. You know, that's so very interesting, because listen, I'll say this, I haven't fully formed my opinion about the whole trans issue. It's still a work in progress. I don't have my mind completely made up. I am able to be convinced. When it comes to it's a battered women's shelter, or a shelter for women.
It's Canada's oldest rape crisis center. So this was back in mid-2019. Like literally, the city council voted to refuse funding because the center refused to allow trans women, and also the center got vandalized because of that too.
How
so
interesting.
Like people were sending the space center threats.
Well, you know what? So I think that, I don't know, because where does the victim, a trans woman victim of rape, where do they go? Because there's no centers for raped men. You know what I mean? So where would they go? And then would a person presenting as female want to be in a space with men, people who present as men? And so someone's asking, should a trans woman share a bathroom with bio women? I don't have a problem with trans women using the bathroom. People go into the bathroom to use the bath to excrete waste and then leave. I'm a YouTube partner, and at the YouTube spaces have both genders in the bathroom at the same time. So I don't have an issue with that. But so your point, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that one. I think when it comes, I don't know. These places don't have enough spaces for bio women. I think that I think that rather than taking funding away from a place, I think that people who are LGBTQIA plus need to create funding for services for a trans girl rocks. You know, so why sue Black Girls Rock when you can create Trans Girls Rock? You know, why take away funding why is that funny?
I mean, it's like, because you're telling the truth. It's like, why can't you even come and have us work with you to help create those spaces for you? Why do you want to shut down a space? That's what, like, when I sit here and think about it, like, okay, if I cannot have you in my home and you're poor or you need services, I would try to help you find those services. Why can't that be kind of the relationship
I think that's what we have to move towards doing. I remember when I did that video, on Love is Blind, and that guy who came on there talking about he was bisexual, and I did the video about that, and there was some people who came out and said, Tonya, you are biphobic. I said, you're damn right. I was like, if you only knew the rate of disease that men pick up having sex with other men, you would be a fool not to have a phobia too.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I am biphobic. And you know what? It's like people try to push back at you to get you to apologize and all this other stuff. They want to try to shame you and shame you into submission. I stood my ground on that because I'm like, listen. I have stated my opinion on this broadcast. Come for me. I don't care. I am biphobic. You goddamn right. I'm afraid of a penis, and I'm afraid of a man who lets other penises enter him. And then, because first of all, men don't have the greatest sense when it comes to sex. Let's just put it out there. They don't have the greatest sense when it comes to sex. I'll never forget. This was way back in the days. I was really young, hanging out at a friend's house, and there was some show on. I think it was Queer as Folk. I think that was the name of the show. Something. All I know is I was watching the show, and there was this man in the supermarket pushing a cart. And he saw another man in the meat section. I don't know if the man picked up a sausage or whatever. I don't know. But all I know is that the next scene, the back of the window was foggy, and all you saw was 2 feet up in the air. And I was like, did these two men just leave the grocery store and go into the back of a car and start boning? So I was like, men don't make the best decisions when it comes to sex. And when you give men unfettered intercourse with other men, they make very lackadaisical decisions. Some of the times these mother effers ain't even strapping up. Listen, they not. Listen, let me ask the ladies out there. And I know we got some gay women on the line too. So let me ask gay women. Answer me now. Answer. The number is going to be 5 and 6, right? Do you know of a bathhouse for women to come and rub birdies with other women? So do you know of a bathhouse? If you know of a bathhouse for women where they come, it's set up over there in the neighborhood. You come, you show your ID, and then you come inside, and then there's a steam room, and then you just jump on some other woman and start bumping beavers in the sauna. If there is, put up a number 5. If there isn't, put up a number 6. If you never heard of one, put up a number 6. But if you have, put up a number 5, right? And then also, let's do 7 and 8. Hetero out there, heteros. Is there a place that you know of where women can go to clubs, right? Go to clubs, and then you give your ID and you pick up some condoms at the front. I'm talking about a club, a business, not some rolling swinger parties, but as a woman, you go and you just walking around in some dark room and you see some big male figure, and then there's some room with a goddamn bed in there with goodness knows how many people been bumping and grinding on it, and then you just lead him back into the room and just kick your two legs up in the air and let him mount you. If you know of a heterosexual club like that for women, put up a 7. If you never heard of such a thing, put up an 8. I want to know. There's people throwing up in the audience. So I can tell you, as we sit here today, men have all of these different clubs, substantial places, right? Substantial places, substantiated places that have been there for decades, where they go and they just roaming around in these dark rooms, and there'll be a man that'll pull another man's arm and he'll look, and if he's with it, he'll go with him. And if not, then he's just like, no, I'm just not into your look. And then he'll just go into some room with a person he never met before entering into this spot and just bust open his anus and let the man pound him down. Somebody...
and it's not, I'm actually lost of words, and I'm gonna ask you. I'm also gonna say something really quick. So
hold on. I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm sorry. I just have to laugh real quick. I know I'm vulgar. I know. All right, go ahead.
So I spent 30 years of my early girlhood in Africa. And
somebody wants to know who told me that these places exist out there. Listen, I'm a life coach. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna have to do another survey. Number 9. Men, if you know that there are places out there, because the women don't believe me. If you know that there are places out there where you could just go and get bust down by somebody that you just met, if you know that there are places like that, put up the number 9. Come on now, don't try to play me. Put up the number 9. If you're gonna tell me that there's no places out there that exist like that, put up a 10, because they got them at all types of truck stops where you just lock eyes with a person, and then the next thing you know, their mouth is on your genitals. Women don't have such things. Where you just gonna lock eyes with a person, and then the next thing you know, you cracking open the buttocks, and the person is ramming you up from your rooter to your tutor. This doesn't exist. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. I just went off. Go ahead.
And I said I grew up in West Africa, Gambia, and I spent 13 years of my early adulthood there. So, and I think sometimes, particularly some trans women, I think they don't realize how much privilege they have, that they've been socialized as males first and then transitioning, because sometimes they'll say like cis women privilege, and I'm like, I grew up most of my girlhood in West Africa. I was always I almost got circumcised.
Wow.
Because I'm a girl. But my grandmother wouldn't allow. Actually, my step-grandmother wouldn't allow it.
I'm so glad she didn't. You know what? I gotta address something in the comments. Listen, I know that lot lizards exist. I know that they exist. I've spoken to truckers, but a lot lizard is working. That is a working girl. She is a prostitute. She is going there trying to earn some money. She's not just looking up through a truck window and she's like, I like your beard. Come bust it in through the... No, she's not doing that. And if she is, she's trying to make some money from it. She's not just there out for her kicks because she just needs an orgasm so bad, or she just needs someone to root her in her tutor. No, it just does. They don't exist. So when a person starts talking about a person being biphobic, men don't make the best choices when it comes to intercourse. They don't, because if women would allow it, men would be doing the same things with us. They would see you at the nightclub, then bust you down on the side of skeet on the floor from the windows to the walls, and then just send you back onto the dance floor, pulling down your skirt with stuff dribbling down the insides of your thighs. If you would allow a man to do that, he will do you like that.
Yep.
And so when a person is like, oh, you're a trans woman, how long did you live your life as a man? How long and what habits and patterns did you pick up from that maleness? You know what? We did get vulgar for a second. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Go ahead, ma'am. You almost got circumcised. Somebody closed their ears.
Because I was a girl, and at no point can I say, oh, I want to become a boy now so I don't get circumcised.
Yeah.
The same thing with not getting inheritance. In a lot of our cultures, women get a fraction of the inheritance, but not at all. Men tend to get it. At no point can I say, I want to become a man so I can get inheritance.
That's
true. Part of girlhood and womanhood for some women, particularly for Black women in some parts of Africa. And also one thing I learned is that when there is a third gender in a lot of cultures, usually only men have access to that. Women don't.
Have access
Even
to
with
what?
like two-spirited people with Americans, usually it's the boys, the males. The same thing in India. India, they have the third gender. Those are usually men. Like throughout human history, they've created spaces in cultures, even if they don't agree with them, but there've always been communities and spaces that allows men to express themselves in certain ways that women have never been afforded that. So sometimes I feel like when, like, you were born a male, and I feel sorry that you don't think you were born in the body that you believe you were born in, but you can't become a woman. That's biologically impossible. The same thing with trans, going from female to male, trans men. And another thing I would like to add is that you rarely hear about trans men trying to take over male spaces.
Yeah, exactly. You don't hear
because
about
they're
it.
socialized different. Like you're not gonna go and try to fight men that are almost 30% stronger than you when you were born a female. They might kill you. You can't box with them. You can't wrestle. And the same thing with sport. Now we see some transgender women are coming into women's sports. There's a reason why the sports are separated. Men and women are different. We have different strengths, different muscle mass, different height.
Yes.
So I don't know how people are comfortable with that.
All right. Well, you know what? Thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate your point of view.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. About midway through the call, I turned off the phone line, so we're not taking any more calls. If you haven't called in now and we've been on the line for 3 hours, then you weren't gonna call in. I'm just gonna read comments until we get up to the 3 hour mark, and then we're gonna jump out of here. I wanna make sure that everybody is subscribed and that everybody has my book. This is the book of affirmations, Self-Love. This book helps you rewire and reprogram your mind for self-love. It's available on Amazon. These are the most powerful affirmations that I used to rewrite my programming to be able to help me live a life of abundance. I was living in my car, things just kept getting worse and worse, and I needed a change. And I didn't know how things were going to change if things kept being the same. So I started doing affirmations and they started to change my life, even if I didn't feel it at first. I just said the affirmations, and that's what you do with the book. It has spaces in there for you to rewrite the affirmations. It is a workbook. And and this is what helped me get to the space that I am in now, in abundant self-love, with an abundant amount of money saved up in the bank, and just living my life, living la vida loca, living the dream. This is my book right here. You can also support me. There are people who are asking, why is there no super chat? YouTube takes 40% of the super chat, and I know that people who are giving, like if you give me $10, I know you don't want YouTube taking 4 of it and giving me $5.99. I'm sure you don't want that. So YouTube takes, I think, is 44%. And so I don't use the YouTube super chat because I know that you all are not trying to help YouTube become more rich and wealthy. Plus, I don't like anybody getting in between the relationship that we have between your contribution and me. Exactly. So they give the content creator, what is it, 56%, and they take 44%. It's somewhere between 40 and 44%. Because I remember when I went to I was on YouTube the year before last. I had Super Chat turned on. I was out roaming to find this hat. Remember the white hat with the pom-pom on top? And people sent me money to get the hat. And so the hat was like $20, but YouTube took 4 out of every $10. So when all was said and done, I only had half of the money for the hat. And I was like, how is YouTube taking half of the money? And I was like, it just didn't make any sense. So and then also, I'm not letting people I'm not going to become dependent on YouTube for my money. Like, if people want to contribute to me, subscribe to me personally. That way, whenever I make content, you know where to find me, you know where to go. I always keep in contact with you. Let me tell you what these sites want to do. Sites like Facebook and YouTube, they want to control content creators. They want to control what we can talk about, how we talk about it. This is why most of the Black women that you see are doing hair and makeup videos or gossip videos, dropping the tea. You don't really see people. You cannot, there's certain words that you cannot say on YouTube without them demonetizing your video. And so they want to control you. Facebook is a whole other animal, because Facebook is completely exploiting content creators, where they pay you and then they just randomly demonetize you for no reason, your whole page. And then you have to go 90 days working for free for 90 days on Facebook. And then you have to apply again. Like, they'll be like if your video goes viral, they'll be like, oh, this video exists on other websites. Because if other people upload your video, there's no way to appeal. And so I'm like, even Patreon takes a percentage of the, and so I'm like, F all that. I'm tired of, we all want to talk about independence for Black women. We all want to talk about Black women thriving, right? But when you put white men in the middle of Black men's money, no good can come from that. There's no white man that's in the middle of me and my money. I have platinum members. Listen, you can get a membership on my site for as little as 99 cents a month. Now, there's no way to get around credit card processing fees, right? There's no way to get around processing fees. However, when you go through a middle person like Patreon, and even on the GoFundMe company took a portion of the money when I did my GoFundMe years ago. So it's like people talking about, these businesses they're not in business for their health. Like YouTube, Facebook has now come up with now Facebook is writing me, they're like, oh, you can have broadcasts where you pay people to watch the broadcast. And I'm like, F you and your broadcast. This is simple. I'm like, you're not coming in between me and my money, because what they want to do, this is how they want to do it, right? This is how Nick Cannon's Black ass got caught out there. What they do is they want to control how you get your money. And then when they want to, they cut you off from your money, and then you got bills that are due that you got to pay. And then because you become accustomed to a certain lifestyle, or you got a personal trainer or some cars or houses and stuff, right? And then they want to cut you off and then be like, dance, monkey, dance. And I'm like, I no dance for no man. I dance when I feel like dancing. Like that person called in talking about they want a kiss. If I feel like blowing a kiss, I will blow a kiss. But you don't come in trying to manipulate me into giving up any type of anything. So that's why I don't have super chat on YouTube. This is why I tell people, go to my website, TonyaTko.com, click on podcast. You can contribute 99 cents a month, $4.99 a month, $9.99 a month, or join on the platinum level at $19.99 a month. It's like, support the content creators that you love to watch, because it's in that support that we are able to create content. Because just like there's racism in other places, there's racism on these platforms too. Trust and believe. They come and they see your Negroid face inside the video and then all of a sudden it's demonetized. You know what I'm saying? They come onto Facebook, you try to appeal and they're like, oh, it's just a Negro. And then you're demonetized. So I just come to my website and subscribe to me personally. And on that note, I love you all very, very much. Go out there and love one another, but most importantly, love yourself. And in terms of this beef, I wish that people could just be on their own respective platform and that people would not instigate beef between content creators, because you know what I mean? It's like there's enough room for all of us. All right, so listen, I will see you all in the next video. I love you all very much. Get my book, support me on my podcast site, and listen to my podcast, watch my videos, thumbs up, and share. Tonya TKO, and I'm out.